It's a good thing. That helps tremendously keep us being productive, keeps those tax returns going.
Jason, bottom line for your practice?
Happy clients, happy workers, happy me.
Don't worry, be happy with document imaging technology and extraordinary local support from James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
The place to get caught up, to speak out, to connect and be entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9:02, it's 53 degrees, partly cloudy, breezy today, a high of 58. Cloud cover increasing tonight, a chance of showers north and east of Milwaukee, Sheboygan, Ozaukee counties, and a low of 45. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. President Biden, one day removed after addressing the nation on the situation in Israel and Ukraine, has another busy schedule today.
The White House today, the president of the European Council and the president of the European Commission for a U.S.-EU summit. On the agenda, the war in Ukraine, clean energy, supply chains, and artificial intelligence. Later today, the president attends a campaign reception in Washington. This evening, he and the First Lady traveled to their beach house in Rehoboth, Delaware, where they'll spend the weekend. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, Travis King, the U.S. soldier with ties to Racine who crossed the North Korean border this past summer, now being detained by the Army, facing a court-martial for desertion and other charges. ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
Charging documents detail insubordination, kicking and punching superior officers, and desertion, which carries a potential 5-year sentence. King's mother telling us in August she had concerns about his mental health before crossing the North Korean border.
He just called and he just screamed, "I'm not the Army soldier you want me to be." And he kept screaming that out loud. And then all of a sudden the phone hung up.
Still relieved for his return, his mother standing by his side, saying in a statement, "I ask that my son be afforded the presumption of innocence."
King is also being charged with possessing sexual images of a child among the total 8 charges he is facing. A 30-year-old is dead and a 5-year-old is in stable but serious condition after a shooting Thursday just south of the Mitchell Park Domes. TMJ4's Megan Lee.
A man was riding his bike here in the area when he heard the shots ring out and rushed over to help.
I was just in shock too, as everybody else. I was like, whoa, that just happened in like 0.5 seconds.
He was in the middle of tending to the man who was hit when he was told there was a child in the back seat.
And I ran around the car, make sure that the kid was okay, and he got shot in his nose, like on his left nostril, and then he started bleeding bad.
Milwaukee police are investigating what led up to the shooting and are seeking unknown suspects. After nearly 6 decades, news may be forthcoming in a Menominee Falls cold case. Police Captain Gene Neidhart tells WTMJ a press conference will be held next Wednesday to provide an update on a cold case surrounding the 1966 murder of Diane Olkwitz, who was stabbed more than 100 times in a Menominee Falls factory, and her murderer was never caught. Representatives from the FBI, Wisconsin Department of Justice, and Milwaukee Police will be on hand to provide an update and recent developments. Also in Menominee Falls today, nearly 3 dozen books will be removed from the high school after the school board deemed them in non-compliance with the district's sexually explicit content and or profanity guidelines. Senior Sean McFerrin says he understands parents and guardians have concerns for their children, but tells TMJ4 News the removal feels like censorship.
I think that the school should remember that these books have been reviewed and were put in the school for a reason, and by taking them out, you can be removing the ability of your kids to learn such valuable lessons.
In a statement, Superintendent Daniel Munoz said the guidelines were in the previous versions of the policy and procedure and should have been adhered to prior to book revisions made in April. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Still a tough start to the day for the markets, about a half hour since the opening bell. The Dow Jones down 118 points to 33,305. The S&P 500's dropped 17 to 4,262. And the NASDAQ down 40 points this morning to 13,147. Annex Ignite, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client. They'll meet you where you're at. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:06.
When a new baby is added to the mix, saving money becomes a real priority. Shopping at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores can help. with an abundance of baby clothing and toys, all thrift store priced at pennies on the dollar. You'll spend a little to get a lot. Find great deals on gently used baby clothes and toys at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
I'm attorney David Gruber. You've heard our slogan thousands of times, but we are much more than just one call. We are one team, one community, one family, and we're the one law firm that can get you the results and compensation you deserve after a serious accident. Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Hi, John McGivern here. Did you know Network Health Medicare Advantage plans start at $0 a month? And you can get the extra benefits you need, like dental, vision, over-the-counter items, and more? I know because I'm a member myself. Call 833-7-NETWORK to learn more today. Network Health Medicare Advantage plans include PPO plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Network Health Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
Haul away big savings this weekend at Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Like 40-pound bags of Superior Hardwood Fuel Pellets, 2 for $11. Morton Clean and Protect Water Softener Pellets are only $5.89 a bag. Save on 40 pounds of black oil sunflower seed, just $18.99. And get a free $15 Fleet Farm gift card with select Science Diet pet food. Stock up on everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm.
Time for a WTMJ sports update. Back to action in the preseason for the Bucks tonight. They take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Our coverage here on WTMJ. Also in baseball, it's more NLCS and ALCS action as well. Houston and Texas taking on each other this afternoon. A 2-2 series tie in the American League. In the National League, the Phillies holding on to a 2-1 lead over the Diamondbacks. They will play later in the evening. Taking a look at your roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Our freeway system is looking great right now. Just a couple of broken down vehicles, not impeding the traffic flow at all. We have full freeway speeds.
Traffic is sponsored by Weniger Compressor, ready to service any facility at pressureisoff.biz.
Servicing world-class Wisconsin manufacturers for 9 decades. Contact Weniger Compressor at pressureisoff.biz.
Weniger Compressor.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, partly cloudy, breezy, a high of 58 today. Chance of showers north of Milwaukee, Sheboygan, Fond du Lac, Ozaukee counties, a low around 45. Morning showers then possible. Afternoon sprinkle maybe on Saturday, otherwise partly sunny. Again, a high of 58. 53, mostly sunny for your Sunday. Then we'll be warming up pretty quickly here. Monday, a high of 58, but Tuesday, back up to around 68 degrees. Could flirt with 70 in some areas of southeast Wisconsin. Right now, in Madison, it's 48. In Green Bay, it's 49. Waukesha is checking in at 50. And in Milwaukee, partly cloudy skies and 53 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:10.
The week is almost over, so pour that coffee. And let's discuss what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ Now. Joining Sandy Max and Steve Scaffidi, here's Joe Sapecki and Bill McCoshen.
Should we talk about the government?
We've dressed it up, gentlemen. Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist, Joe Sapecki on the Democratic side. We jazzed it up a little bit for you guys on this Friday.
Yeah, it's a Zapecki more than Sapecki, but, you know, we'll fix it in post.
We're fine.
That was a live read, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't a live read.
Oh, we hadn't heard that before.
Yeah. Well, do we have to run it by your people? Is that what's happening here?
You know, I was told
our people talk to your people.
I was told I had sign off.
I don't know who told you
You'll
that.
get nothing and like it.
Because clearly you don't have sign off. All right, gentlemen. So we have to start with the big story, and there's a lot of big stories, but
are you getting regular updates on the vote count?
Apparently somebody's already complained.
They need me in the cloakroom.
I was going to say, that's your people saying right now, don't go any further until this has all been ironed out. All right. The House of Representatives is trying to find a speaker. I saw the breaking news this morning. Derek Van Orden from Wisconsin, congressman, former Navy SEAL. He's on his way to Israel, so that's one less vote. Bill McCoshen, You are a very smart man, and you're somebody who knows Republican politics probably better than anybody in this room, certainly. What are we doing here?
So I've been yoga breathing all week.
You have been?
Just getting ready for this segment.
Are you a practitioner of yoga?
My wife has taught me this yoga breathing thing. I could not be more upset about what's going on. It feels like the Republican conference in D.C. is on the Titanic, and Matt Gaetz steered us right directly into the iceberg, and this ship is going down. This is what losing looks like. At the end of the day, doesn't matter if Jim Jordan, if there's a vote in an hour, if there's a vote tonight, if there's a vote tomorrow, if there's a vote on Sunday, it's ultimately about math. Jim Jordan does not have the votes. He's not going to have the votes. And the sooner the rest of the conference figures that out and goes back into closed conference and tries to select an alternative to him, the better off that we're all going to be. None of this public outing of each other. I mean, there's so much disunity within the Republican conference right now. It's not healthy, and it's a sure way to get in the minority in 2024. Listen, at the end of the day, in politics, money isn't that ideological. It really isn't, with a few exceptions. George Soros, Zuckerberg, guys like that. They just bet on Democrats. Most people bet on predictability. And right now, the predictability of the Republican conference is zero, right? They can't even govern. So the money will follow Senate Republicans in 2024, thinking that's where the safe bet is. That's where they can pick up some sanity and have a check against Joe Biden if he's reelected. So all of the things that have gone on in the last 2 weeks as a result of the Chaos Caucus, the 8 guys led by Matt Gaetz, including a woman, Nancy Mace, has been to the detriment of the Republican brand nationally. Full stop.
Joe, you're a Democrat. I mean, you're watching this. What are you seeing and hearing?
If Bill wants to keep talking about what a mess Republicans are, I'm happy to just.
Well, let's
sit
get
here
past
quietly.
that. I'm not that interested in that. I'm interested in actually getting the work of the country done, the people's work.
Me too.
In the people's house, and that's not happening. So you're somebody that looks at politics very closely, and I'm seeing this, and I believe everything that Bill just said. But at some point, there has to be some forward progress here. I'm not sure what that looks like even for Republicans.
And that's the problem, because at this moment in our history, there is nothing holding the Republican Party together as a party other than the fact that they hate Democrats, right? You've got a Republican conference that is part populist, part old guard, little c conservative, lower taxes, smaller government. You've got people who are pro-Ukraine and defending freedom, and people who are not. You've got people who are there for the opportunity to go viral on Twitter. The only thing holding all these disparate elements of the Republican conference together is the fact that they hate Democrats.
Yeah.
And so that's not a healthy place for a political party. It's not a healthy place for a country. At the moment, listen, when we first had this conversation 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, when it first started, you said Scalise, you said Jordan, and I said, give me the field.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're to the point where it is going to be the field, but I don't know who that's going to be.
I don't either.
And you see every single, names are being bandied about, and every time some portion of the Republican conference has a problem with it. So listen, I have refrained from going there yet because I think it's pretty small likelihood, but the likelihood is growing by the day that there's going to have to be some type of interim fix that requires Democratic votes. The problem is that's basically a suicide mission for any Republican that's acceptable enough to Democrats.
Yeah, so Matt Gaetz has fans out there, right? And some think he's a hero for what he did. At the end of the day, he won a battle and lost the war, right? We have a 4-seat majority in the House of Representatives. Kevin McCarthy took 15 ballots to be elected by this conference. And at the end, he had to strike deals with the hardest right in the conference, including, giving a single vote to vacate the speakership to get the job. So if Jim Jordan can't win today, all Matt Gaetz does is go backwards. Whatever Kevin McCarthy will be better than what's coming, because Jim Jordan would have to cut deals with the moderates in the conference. Remember, 18 of these people are in seats that Joe Biden won. They're not just going to go for the hard right guy because he's the Republican in the field, right? This is something, if you want to get things done in politics, you got to work things out. And the best way to do that is behind closed doors, not regular press conferences and bloviating on talk TV at night. None of that's helpful. I mean, this is going to require some leadership. Sadly, we haven't seen much of that out of the House GOP so far.
Could we see, I don't even know why I'm saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway, could we see a Kevin McCarthy 2.0?
I think he's been lurking in the background the whole time.
Still sitting in the office.
Listen, he lost by 8 votes. 8 Republicans. He's not going to get those 8.
And that would mean that Democrats get concessions.
Right.
What those look like.
Well, that was my next
this
question.
goes back to what did Matt Gaetz really get out of this?
Nothing.
Would Democrats, if somebody nominated McHenry in the permanent speaker role, would Democrats say, yeah, we're okay, we'll sign off on that?
If they got a few things, right? And so what
are those?
Those things could be a suspension of the Hastert rule, that as opposed to if more than half of the majority party is for something that comes to the floor, to say if more than half of the Congress supports something, like funding for Ukraine, it comes to the floor. A deal on not just another continuing resolution on the budget, but an actual deal on the budget to move things past next November. The problem with McCarthy in making that deal is he hasn't kept his word before, and it's hard for Democrats to trust him. But so there's policy wins that Democrats could get that would be good for the country and might help Republicans resolve this mess.
Hold your thought. Bill McCosh and Joseph Pecky got some great questions on the text line. You can join us, 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank Talking Text Line. Quick break here. Listening, of course, to the Political Power Hour on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this. Your weekly Bucks Breakdown is back.
They want to win equally as bad as I do.
Bucks Weekly on WTMJ.
Now he joins a team where you have, as he has put it, the best player in the league.
And a new year brings new faces.
You'll see that I've gotten better year after year after year after year.
Get the latest news, analysis, and insight on your Milwaukee Bucks all season long. Bucks Weekly with Justin Garcia every Monday night at 8 on WTMJ. And catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi. For Advent, I've told you about it, tossing and turning, restless nights. That doesn't have to be your reality. It used to be mine, no longer. I went to Advent, one of their great facilities, talked to 2 of their docs. In a quick 30-minute visit, they figured it out. They put me at ease. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed, determined my problem, my sinuses and nasal passages. Short procedure done in office, one of the great offices, back to breathing well, sleeping through the whole night. If that's your goal, and it should be, if you struggle like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help you. They helped me change my life when it comes to sleeping and having a refreshed, wake-up start to your day. That can be you. Find out breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better. Go to AdventKnows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 46 to 48 ounce selected varieties Blue Bunny ice cream, 2 for $8. 10.5 to 16 ounce selected varieties Kohl's garlic toaster bread, 2 for $6. 7 to 15 ounce selected varieties Rana pasta or sauce, 2 for $7. 2 liter bottles selected varieties Super Chill soda, 4 for $5.
Let's see, spices, cardamom, hibiscus powder. It's like looking at Green Bay's roster right now. I don't recognize it, but I'll learn to love it.
Attention Century shoppers. You're going to love this opportunity. Win 2 tickets to see Green Bay play Kansas City on December 3rd, autographed Packers footballs, or 4 packs of Hall of Fame tickets.
I'd love to see Green Bay's new QB in action and win those tickets. What do I do?
Find the weekly code on Century's Facebook or Instagram and enter to win.
Love it. Getting the Century code on Insta right now.
Ends November 14th.
WTMJ now.
All right, joining me in studio, Joseph Pecky, Democratic strategist, Bill McCosh on the Republican side. I'll start with you, Bill. A couple of texters have asked this question. I was going to ask it as well. We are now reading about, I saw it on the news last night, death threats to members who apparently aren't lined up behind Jim Jordan from Ohio. Just a general comment on the state of affairs in the House right now.
We got to tone things down in politics on both sides, but right now on our side, it's not right. So there are not, here's simple math for the listeners. There are not 218 mega districts in the United States of America. There aren't. 18 House Republicans are in districts Joe Biden won. This week, a nice lady named Mariette Miller Meeks from Iowa, who won by, I think, 240 votes in her last election, is getting death threats. She voted for Jordan on the first ballot, didn't vote for him on the second, unlikely to vote for him on the third. This is nonsense. This is not what we do to our own team. And you say, well, what does McCoshen know? I was in the minority in the state Senate. I helped Tommy Thompson create the first majorities in the state of Wisconsin in a generation. Democrats had controlled the the state assembly from 1970 to 1994. They controlled the state Senate from 1972 to 1993. We helped change that by bringing people together. It wasn't dividing people. It was bringing people together. We need some real leaders to step up in this moment and take this by the horns and say, this is how we're going to do this. We need to unite, to Joe's point, around an agenda, not around a hatred. It has to be standing for something if we really want to be a governing party.
Do you think what we're seeing with the defense of Jim Jordan, who I agree with you, does not have the votes, this is clearly an indication of the still strong power of Donald Trump, former president?
I think he's probably getting counseled to stay in the fight and be in front of the camera and fight till the death. He's not coming off the mat. He's a former wrestler, and I can say that. He's not coming off the mat. The votes will not be there for him. And I think inside, Jim Jordan knows that, and he wants to do the right thing. Remember, yesterday, he was the guy who said he was going to step aside, and we would have Patrick McHenry at least till January 1.
So who blew that idea up?
I'm thinking that came from Florida, would be my guess.
I don't understand what the goal here is. If you keep doing this, then you are really running the risk of putting the country in serious danger.
We're already there. We're in two wars, basically, between Russia and Ukraine and now Israel and everybody else in the Middle East, and we couldn't even pass an aid package if we wanted to.
And, oh, by the way, government shutdown looming. I mean, how is any of this, from the Republican perspective, going to lead to success down the road?
If you follow me on Twitter, my tweet this week was, being in the minority is very easy. Governing is hard. It takes serious people to do it. And right now, we don't have enough serious people in the conference saying, stop, this is nonsense. We got to move on. We have to come together, figure out who our speaker is going to be, not a temporary speaker, figure out who our speaker is going to be, and unite around an agenda.
Let me ask it a different way. Does any of this, either side, surprise you? The conduct, the death threats, the inability to get a speaker in place?
Sadly, no. Listen, since 2015, when Donald Trump came down that elevator, he has upended American life, American politics, and probably most of all, the Republican Party, right? Everything from, if you go back to like the threats that he was making, that if he didn't get the nomination, he would run as an independent, and the terror that struck through the Republican Party. The fact, from the Access Hollywood tapes where you had the RNC chair saying, you should drop out, you will lose by a landslide. It's just instance after instance. He has broken the Republican Party, and now it's up to Republicans to try to fix that. And by a lot of measures, that fix isn't possible soon because he's leading by 50 points and going to be the nominee of the Republican Party again. And so, from the rhetoric that he uses on down, it shouldn't surprise us that we see landlords in Colorado evicting Republican members of Congress who dare not support Jim Jordan for speaker because they're MAGA Republicans and they want Jim Jordan in that spot. The violent rhetoric has a cost, and I am terrified. Someone's going to get killed over this. And if not over this, then something that Trump or someone like him says, and we have seen some close calls that thankfully law enforcement averted. Whether it was, the guy in the van down in Florida with bomb-making materials, or the armed individual who tried to get into a federal building, I think it was in Ohio, someone's going to get killed over this, and that is very, very dangerous, to state the obvious.
This all came down to Kevin McCarthy keeping the government open and making sure that our servicemen and women were getting paid, right? The 8 Chaos Conference members on my side decided that was treasonous, right? That was beyond the pale, and he had to go. None of those 8 said a word when Donald Trump spent more than any president in U.S. history. That's a fact. So at some point, facts have to matter in this debate on my side of the aisle. I'm not looking at you angrily, Joe. It's we have to get back to reality here. There are realities in politics. Jim Jordan doesn't have the votes. Matt Gaetz is not going to win. There are members of the House conference who will never, ever vote for whoever he wants for Speaker, period.
6 members, Republican members of Congress from Wisconsin, are all Jim Jordan supporters, or that's how they voted. When will that shift? Today?
I think they'll all be with him today. But then after that, I think they're going to – listen, I feel bad for those guys. I think we have 6 tremendous Republicans on the Republican side here in the state of Wisconsin. I think any one of them could be the Speaker of the House.
None of them wants the job.
Mike Gallagher's name was floated this week. He quickly dismissed that. Brian Stile, I would say, has grown more in office than any politician I can ever remember in my lifetime. I think he's close to being ready to do this. I think Scott Fitzgerald has proven both as majority leader in Wisconsin for the state Senate that he could do it. But I feel bad for these guys. They're loyal. They know what winning looks like. They're trying to be team players. And sadly, they're on the wrong team right now.
And what I'll just say is we've been talking about whether Jim Jordan can get to 217. He can't. But we should also talk about the fact that this is someone who refused to vote to certify the 2020 election, still will not admit that Joe Biden won a free and fair election. He is someone who believes that all abortion should be outlawed from the moment of conception on. These are political losers for the Republican Party, not just in swing districts, but across the country. And I'm pretty surprised that Mike Gallagher, Brian Stile, those are not like 65% Republican districts. Those are tough votes that they've now made, and there could be a political impact for them saying, even though they did the right thing on January 6th, they're now willing to support someone who did not.
Joe Zepecki, Bill McCoshen, there's a looming third speaker vote for Jim Jordan apparently coming up momentarily. We will keep you posted on that throughout the show today. Join us with your questions, 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank Talk and Text line. You're listening to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Stay in touch. You can reach us on the Old National Bank Talk and Text line at 855-616-1620. Old National Bank. Get old.
A wiser way to build your wealth.
A wiser way to build your wealth starts with choosing a financial planning firm that is fee only, because it means they work for you. Fee-only firms like Financial Strategies, Inc. don't work for a bank or brokerage firm or an insurance company or mutual fund company, because we don't want our decisions for your best interests compromised in any way. We work for you, and only in your best interest. And fee-only means the success we care about most is yours. Ask your advisor, are you 100% fee-only for 100% of your clients 100% of the time? If they answer no, get a second opinion. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm. And I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
It's WTMJ Now.
Having fun on a Friday with Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist, Joseph Zepecki on the Democratic side. Lots of different comments, but a lot of them are around Trump. So let's talk about Trump. Some I think, bad news. One of his attorneys, Sidney Powell, the what was it? Unleashed a Kraken attorney?
Yeah. The lady they tried to appoint as special counsel
during the Trump administration,
in
right?
Waning days to try to investigate the non-existent voter fraud.
So let me just say this because I really want to hear what you guys have to say. I said it at the time. I say it now. This woman is nuts. I think she's nuts. She may be an attorney or is an attorney. I don't know if that's going to be part of the deal where she's not an attorney anymore. I hope that's the case. But Bill, this is not helpful if you're a fan of Donald Trump. This can't be helpful to your case.
Well, I certainly don't think it's helpful. And I was with you in December of 2020. I'm like, okay, where are the facts? I'm open to hearing some facts.
Sure.
What is it Giuliani said? We have a lot of theories, but no evidence.
Was that the day where his makeup was literally rolling down his face?
Yes. She was there.
Yeah, she was there.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I don't understand what the end game is here. I mean, there must be facts, or you wouldn't be standing before national cameras, right? Except they never produced any facts. In fact, all the facts worked against them because each challenge that they made, and regardless of which state it was, came back saying there was no widespread fraud. So I'm not sure what she gets out of the deal or what she gave up for the deal or how it impacts Trump. It doesn't seem to impact him in the primary, but I think all of these things cumulatively absolutely will have an impact in the general.
I think it was, 21 individuals or 19 individuals who were part of that particular RICO case. Here's the challenge for former President Trump from just a legal standpoint. Sidney Powell may strike us as a little bit off and a little nuts, but she's more likely to have real lawyers than President Trump is at this point, right? Lawyers who know what they're doing, expect to be paid, will be paid. And what they are saying is the government's got you dead to rights. If you do not come to a plea deal, this will be worse for you, and you will probably go to jail. That is a heck of a world to live in, and it makes somebody go, okay, how do I not have to go to jail? And then the prosecutors come in and say, okay, if you apologize to the people of Georgia, which she has done, if you agree to testify truthfully against the other defendants, and if you agree not to speak about this case or your role in it or speak to Donald Trump until the case is resolved, we will give you just 6 years probation. That's a pretty steep price. I mean, 6 years on probation ain't fun.
Right.
And she's saying that's the only way I avoid prison. She's not the first person to what they call flip.
She's the second.
Right. And there will be more of this.
So is the goal here to one by one chip away at all the other defendants?
Absolutely.
So you're looking at Donald Trump exclusively.
That is
with their help.
That is
with their help, testifying against him.
Yes.
That is prosecuting 101. It is part of why you cast the wide net and indict a lot of people who may not have the resources of Donald Trump, although how many resources he have is a question being debated in another courtroom because all this guy does is spend time in front of judges and juries. But this is a pretty big fish among those 19 to get Sid Powell.
Bill, so I just got a text. I'll read a little bit of it. It's basically, I'm going to paraphrase. It's about the claim that liberal media in general focuses too much on Trump. How do you not focus on someone who's the leading candidate for the nomination? How do you not focus on that?
And he makes sure they focus on him.
Right.
You know, even during the beginning of the Israeli-Palestinian war here, he was having press conferences every day, making things about him and his relationship with Bibi Netanyahu. So,
and talking about how smart Hamas is.
You can't just blame the media for that. He insists on that. And he wants that. And so the listeners understand, I'm for generational change. I have not made a decision on who I'm going to support in this race, but I don't think 80-year-olds should be our president, whether it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump. So I don't want to come on the show every week and hammer on Donald Trump, but he makes a lot of mistakes. I think this campaign actually could be over on the Republican side if he simplified it and actually had some discipline in his campaign.
So, again, I've asked this question like a million different ways, but as and I hear from a lot of these people as Republican voters who are sick of Trump but want to win an election for president. What are we telling them other than to support other candidates like Nikki Haley, who I advocate for all the time? Other than that, how do you knock down the Trump train?
They also have to talk to other Trumpers,
right?
Because they won't listen to me. They won't listen to you.
Bill and I know a lot of Trump fans. I have friends, family, neighbors who are as insistent today as they were the last two times. We're not changing their minds.
Nope.
And I don't know how you would.
Then you're stuck because they'll never listen to me. They might listen to you.
Well, I think this speaker's race is a microcosm of what's coming, right? There is a divide within the party, and to think that Donald Trump can bring that all together if he is the nominee
he's not much of a uniter
next July in
How
Milwaukee.
is that not a circus? If
I don't see it. I have friends who are trying to help Trump or are definitely all in for Trump, and they love to burn down Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. And I say, what are you doing? What are you doing? What end does that serve? He's up by 40 or 50 points right now. You're not going to get that extra point to 51 or 52. Right? And what if something happens and he can't be the nominee? Why would you destroy credible alternative candidates? And they can't answer it.
Do you see, I'll say it, do you see a potential nightmare scenario when we're sitting here next year and he is the candidate, but all the other things are all coming together at the same time? And we're like, who's our person? Is it a return to like the old conventions of the past? Backroom deals.
I want Milwaukee
Bill looks
to
like he's
shine.
gonna be sick.
I am sick.
Take your yoga.
I've got to get back to my yoga breathing on the break here. I am sick. This isn't where I want our party to be. I want Milwaukee to shine next year. I want the state of Wisconsin to shine. I want our party to be able to come together no matter who you supported in the primary. We are not on that path right now.
I'll answer my own question. The way this starts to happen, and you're talking about influence and media, people like Scott Walker, former governor, and other people who are solidly in the Trump camp, even though they pretend they're not, need to start saying it out loud. That's the way you change it. My opinion.
And former Governor Walker.
Quickly.
Former Governor Walker. I don't know former Governor Walker, but I have a hard time believing he means a lot of what he says on social media these days. That's a guy who, in 2016, sounded very different than he does now in terms of Trump. What's he doing? I don't get it.
I think in his heart of heart, he would love to see Donald Trump be the nominee. That's my opinion.
Really?
I think you know what? Here's the deal. He could come on the show and tell me otherwise. I don't think he would do that.
I'll give enough credit to say I think in his heart of hearts he doesn't want to see that. He just is afraid to say so.
I think he's a Pence guy myself. They're good friends.
Pence
have
has
been for a
no
long
chance
time.
of winning.
Zero chance. He should be out already.
Okay, so former governor, and I have a lot of respect for governors. That's why one of the reasons I'm supporting Nikki Haley. You should know that. All right, Bill McCutcheon, Joseph Pecky. I'm warmed up now.
Yoga breathe, Steve. Yoga breathe.
long, deep breaths, slow breaths. All right, we'll take a break. We'll return. Your questions, 855-616-1620, the Political Power Hour on WTMJ Now.
It's WTMJ Now.
Trees on the Move's field clearing sale is on now with savings up to 75%. 20 to 30-foot maples, elms, oaks, honey locust, and more. 12 to 18-foot spruce, arborvitae, and junipers are on sale too. Trees on the Move has to clear 40 acres, and this is your chance to buy big and save big. These trees are great for newer existing homes, landscape projects, or replacing trees lost to disease or storm damage. Trees on the Move's field clearing sale, Monday through Friday from 8 to 4, Saturday 9 to 4, or see treesonthemove.com.
Do you know how to find the best CD rates? Hi, I'm Dr. Aaron Armstrong with Steinbrenner Financial and your Dave Ramsey SmartVestor Pro. Tune into the Dave Ramsey program weeknights at 9 o'clock or visit steinbrennergroup.com to learn more.
At Semper Fi, we work hard not to tarnish our reputation, and that's what will make your decision to work with us one you won't regret. You can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Have you been thinking of updating your bath or shower? Well, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
It's spooky season, and we have monster deals at Heiser. Is your vehicle becoming a money-eating monster, causing your wallet to be as see-through as a ghost? Sleepless nights causing you to look like a zombie? Oh, don't scream. Heiser will gladly take control of that scary monster. No tricks, just treats. Heiser will save you money and sleep on any of our new Chevrolets, Cadillacs, Toyotas, Fords, and Lincolns. And that includes our used vehicles too. Because at Heiser, today's your day.
See dealer for complete details.
WTMJ Now.
Don't get me down, but I'm down. And, you know, Texas blowing me up for supporting Nikki Haley. It's my opinion. I think as a former governor, somebody who's worked a lot of international problems through her work at the UN, I think that's a smart play. I think, and for all my Republican friends, maybe a old white male, maybe getting away from that for a moment to be a breath of fresh air, or as Bill says, a good yoga breath. Maybe. All right. There's a lot going on in the world today, right? In Wisconsin, let's take it back to Wisconsin. Where are we at with like tax relief, some of the big issues? Where are we at with this stuff? Because I'm not hearing that much, actually. And maybe as guys who are tuned into all of this with a Democratic governor and a Republican-led legislature, what are you hearing? Where are we at?
Well, we had a super bipartisan vote for the Brewers package this week. 69 out of 99 voted in favor. I think there were 16 Republicans who didn't and 11 Democrats who didn't. I think that was a step in the right direction. Joe and I might disagree on how to save the Brewers. I think we agree on we want the Milwaukee Brewers in the state of Wisconsin. I think the package likely will get modified to a degree in the Senate. It's now before Dewey Strobel's committee. Dewey Strobel, I think, was one of the unsung heroes in the state budget. I mean, he was the guy that got the tax package done. He got the school choice thing done behind the scenes, and now it's before his committee. Some senators on the Republican side have said they want specific changes, and we'll see. I don't know that the votes are there to pass it yet, but I know the unions are working hard on the Democrats, and the business community is working hard on the Republicans, and hopefully there will be a bipartisan agreement like there was in the Assembly, and then it'll have to go back. There will either be a conference committee between the houses, which I highly doubt, or the Assembly will concur in the changes that the Senate makes. But, either option is possible, but I think this is going to get done in the November floor period.
Here's my fear. This is the one that's actually the easiest.
It is.
And the fact that they're doing that one first instead of saving it for last means I am finally willing to back away from our rose-colored glasses that was like, oh, they're for sure going to figure out how to do a grand
one
bargain.
more grand bargain.
On the engineering building and on childcare and on a tax cut. I think they're going to get this Brewers thing done, and then
that's it.
Pretty skeptical that they're going to, because look at what's happening in terms of relations between the governor, and the legislature. In a single day this week, the Republican legislature in the state Senate fired 8 nominees. That is more nominees by any governor of any party than had been fired total in my lifetime. Only 5 governor nominees had ever been voted down since 1981. And in a single day, they wiped out 8 of them.
This is pure politics.
Why?
I hate it. It's garbage. It's the negativity and just the meanness of politics. I don't get it.
Right. It's like just because they can. And listen, there's one of these that is very close to home for me because it was my better half. Was volunteering to serve on the governor's task force.
Is your better half.
On domestic violence.
Your better 2/3.
That sure. And right, I mean, talk about a thing that should be nonpartisan. Domestic violence, right? And she has spoken on this, and she speaks for herself. But I'll just say the absurdity of 22 Republican state senators who, to a person, have supported Donald Trump in the past, even if they aren't now, deciding that someone shouldn't serve in a volunteer position because they don't like her tweets is just the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard.
It's just dumb. Anyway, some love for you guys before we go to break. We've got a lot more to get to. I said it before. I'll say it again. This is on 262. Having Joe and Bill on the show and have a respectful political discussion makes it the best political commentary I look forward to hearing every week.
Very nice.
Thanks for the text.
Thanks for listening.
I get a lot of those every week, so that's one of the reasons we love doing this. All right, Bill and Joe will be back. I don't even know where we're going next, but we'll figure it out during the break. You're listening to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Hey, this weekend is Sweetest Day weekend. Don't forget your sweetheart. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I highly recommend taking your love to the amazing Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. It's the most affordable Sweetest Day dining destination. Check this out. The Mind Chef has lowered their prices on their Wednesday and Friday fish fry. The cod is all you can eat, and it's just $9.99. Now the shrimp, perch, and poor man's lobster are $9.99, and all you can eat. Don't pay $16 to $20 at just $9.99. This is the best fish fry value anywhere. Add a delicious old-fashioned, a Manhattan, or a glass of wine for a perfect fish fry. And buy one dessert, your sweetheart's dessert is free. Today, on Sweetest Day, the prime rib dinner is under $25. That is amazing. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh, ample seating, close parking, fabulous food, big fun. Don't spend a lot of money on Sweetest Day to have a great time. Reserve now, mineshaft.restaurant.com. Just relax. It's the amazing Mine Shaft Restaurant.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Chris and Tim closed their first loan with Accunet $116,000 ago in terms of the median sales price in southeastern Wisconsin. We helped their daughter buy a home earlier this year, and now we're helping them buy their retirement condo. We're told there were 3 offers, 2 cash offers, and Chris and Tim's offer backed up by an Accunet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. All 3 offers were probably over the asking price, but we're surmising Chris and Tim's offer was the highest because when the sellers asked the listing broker if they could count on the offer with the pre-approval letter, the answer was simply, Accunet really does their homework. It's not easy to beat a cash offer over the asking price, but that's exactly what Tim and Chris did with some help from their trusted family mortgage lender. If you don't think the lender's name on your pre-approval letter matters, think again. It's still a seller's market in the Badger State, so click on the blue button at Accunet.com today to get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
The Emmy Award-winning Beatles tribute, The Fab Four, returns to Milwaukee. See them play the hit album Rubber Soul in its entirety alongside all your favorite hits. Saturday, October 28th at the Pabst Theater. The Fab Four. Tickets on sale now at PabstTheaterGroup.com.
I thought I was going to have to go through a hip replacement or some painful, unsuccessful surgery or be crippled the rest of my life.
Electrical engineer Dan Vogler had awful arthritic pain in his hips. Pain that not only affected him physically, but also emotionally. And it spilled over even to his relationships.
I was almost mean. If you're in pain and other people don't sympathize with it, you're lashing out at the wrong people.
But then Dan found QC Kinetics. With the latest advances in regenerative medicine, non-surgical treatments with lasting relief.
I felt immediate relief. I mean, within half a day, much of the inflammation and pain was down.
And today, Dan says he's totally pain-free, living the life he wants.
At the end of the 4th treatment, I felt pretty much healed and enthused and was raving about QC Kinetics. I can recommend them highly to anyone.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
WTMJ Now.
The Political Power Hour, my favorite hour of the week, other than the hours I'm doing the show by myself. If I'm going to be brutally honest, Bill McCoshen, Republican strategist, Joe Sapecki on the Democratic side of things. All right, there's a Senate race going to happen in Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin and
are we sure?
Some Republican. Bill, where are we at on that?
Is there a Senate race?
Where are we at, Bill?
If nobody runs against her, is there a Senate race?
Well, there's 2 Republicans in right now. I apologize, I can't tell you their names. One's from Trempealeau County, one's from Portage County, both female. Good 3 almost guarantees that would give them the majority, but they have 3 or 4 other really strong potential races, including in the state of Wisconsin. So you will see bigger names who do have the ability to at least self-fund a significant portion of the early race, and then we'll see how it shakes out. Then the national environment will play a role.
Rebecca Clayfish?
I think she already announced she's not getting it.
Oh, okay. Well, people can change their minds.
I don't know if we mentioned this, but I was in Washington, D.C. for most of this week. I spoke to someone who was at the recent NRSC retreat, like donor retreat. And
were you part of the insurrection the other day?
I was not. I was waiting to be called in from the bullpen to be Speaker of the House.
I thought I saw that with a baseball cap on.
Yeah. And you're exactly right. Wisconsin is like down the tier 2 list.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And that is part of the reason I think Republicans are struggling to get a candidate to take on Tammy Baldwin. The other reason is Tammy Baldwin's really, really tough to beat and is a really good United States Senator. And so if it's David Clark, or who's like the biggest name still talking about it that isn't from California, I don't know. You guys your recruiting needs a little something, because like literally Eric Hovde won an award for being like the Orange County Man of the Year within the last 2 months. We just see he's only voted in like 17 of the last 30 elections in Wisconsin. He got his most recent absentee ballot sent from the Wisconsin Elections Commission to California. I thought Republicans didn't like when people were, doing mail-in ballots, much less to California. Like, what are we doing
Newsflash,
here?
like me, he lives in Dane County, and there isn't a lot of reason to vote in primaries in Dane County. We're lucky to have one candidate for an office.
Let's be fair. Voting record is important.
It is
I don't
important.
miss elections. I don't care how big they are or small
I
they are.
make all the big ones, for sure.
I feel like every time we talk about the Senate race, I'm going to need the California Dreamin' queued up here because I don't think a California man is the answer Wisconsin Republicans are looking for.
All right, so you don't have a name in your head that you think is going to be a surprise. You don't want to say.
No, I think it's Hovde and Meyer are both getting in. I do. And my advice would be, let's not do what we did in 2018 when Nicholson and Vukmir literally destroyed each other, or what we did in 2022 when Michaels and Clayfish destroyed each other.
Whatever happened to that guy? Where's Nicholson?
No better friends.
He's back being a consultant, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, grab bag, early grab bag, because we're gonna go to break early. So what do you guys have in the grab bag? Now you got to think about it because I surprised you.
Bill does his homework.
We're ready.
So
I'm going to give my shout out this week to Michael Best, the law firm here in Milwaukee, iconic law firm. It's now in 6 states. It is our 175th anniversary.
That's impressive.
For those that don't know, I am part of Michael Best Strategies, which is their lobbying arm. And
is that Paul still in there?
He is. He's on the comm side.
Tell Evan I said
I will do that. Evan is on the comm side.
Tell him both of us.
Yeah.
He used to be on the show all the time. Now he gives me a blank stare when I say want to be on the show. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Was part of the celebration yesterday in Milwaukee, and there were lawyers in from all over the country and lobbyists in from around the country. And David Kretz, our managing partner, has done a phenomenal job growing the country and building the platform. And so kudos to Michael Best.
I bet you the catering was good at that party.
It was damn good.
I bet it was.
Thanks for the invite, Bill.
Yeah. No, bring along some plus ones, maybe. All right, grab bag Joe.
I was in D.C. this week. I spent Wednesday evening walking the mall at night, and did the Jefferson Memorial, the Martin Luther King Jr., the Franklin Roosevelt, the Lincoln Memorial, the Vietnam Wall. It just that's
a good night.
That's a great night. I love doing that at night. I first did that more than 20 years ago when I was an intern on Capitol Hill in 2001 in the summer, just before the 9/11 attacks. And I'm just going to say a lot has changed in those 22 years. And for me, thankfully, one thing that has not is the majesty of those monuments and the way that they sort of stir me and make me think about the world. And I left that evening feeling a renewed sense of hope and optimism, because the reality of the American story is it was never as good as we tell ourselves it was. There have always been moments of great conflict between people who disagree, but we have always found our way through it and forward because people made choices that bent the moral arc of the universe towards justice or towards greater freedom or greater equality. And the pursuit of a more perfect union is not supposed to ever be over, right? That's the beauty of that phrase. And so as disheartening and frustrating and just stuck on stupid as our politics can seem sometimes,
yes,
this is not the first time that we've been in what seem like dangerous places or frustrating places. And I just would urge everybody, because we so often talk about the bad, to try to take a little hope and a little optimism that we've been in places like this before. We will be in places like this again. But we, the people, this great country, can find a way forward. We will find a way forward, even if it takes 16 more votes for Jim Jordan to realize he's not going to be Speaker of the House.
Real quick for my buddy David Pavlik, 92 years old, having some health challenges. He's a veteran of the Korean War, frozen Chosin. I mean, the guy's done everything. A warrior to every extent you could possibly apply that term to, and I wish him my best. He's one of my favorite people in the world. So
thank you for your service.
Yes, thanks for your service, and we're thinking about you, David Pavlik. Gentlemen, we'll do it again next Friday.
Yeah, we're on.
Political Power Hour. I'll leave you with this real quick.
Will we have a speaker by then?
I don't think so. I hope so.
I'm not even predicting anymore.
Real quick, because we got to get to break. Steve, the only way you can make the Power Hour better is if you made it 2 hours. I learned from you. I learned so much from all of you. So, little kudos.
Nice.
Thanks to the listener for that. The news is next on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
This is Libby Collins. Join me this Sunday morning at 11 o'clock for WTMJ Conversations, when we talk with former Congressman Scott Klug about why we're not hearing more about voters in the middle. It's all this Sunday on Conversations.
There's nothing wrong with making the best case for your position in the most fiery way possible, but at the end of the day, you have to agree and move forward.
WTMJ Conversations, Sunday mornings at 11 on WTMJ.
Hi, John McGivern here. Did you know Network Health has Medicare Advantage plans that give you $25 a month back towards your Medicare Part B premium? That's $300 a year back in your pocket. Isn't that great? Call 833-7-NETWORK to learn more today. Network Health Medicare Advantage plans include PPO plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Network Health Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal. Certain restrictions apply to the Part B giveback. Visit networkhealth.com/Medicare/extra benefits for details.
Shania Twain.
Let's go, girls.
Live in concert in Milwaukee. The Queen of Me Tour. Fiserv Forum, October 31st. Shania Twain. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. The album Queen of Me is available everywhere now. For more, visit ShaniaTwain.com.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
Haul away big savings this weekend at Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Like 40-pound bags of Superior Hardwood Fuel Pellets, 2 for $11. Morton Clean and Protect Water Softener Pellets are only $5.89 a bag. Save on 40 pounds of black oil sunflower seed, just $18.99. And get a free $15 Fleet Farm gift card with select Science Diet pet food. Stock up on everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft grace zone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft grace zone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning, 10:01. We have 54 degrees, partly cloudy, breezy today with a high of 58. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Travis King, the soldier from Racine who crossed into North Korea this past summer, now being detained by the Army and facing court-martial for desertion. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has more.
U.S. Army Private Travis King now facing several charges, including desertion, possession of child pornography, and assault. King was supposed to have boarded a U.S.-bound flight back in July after a couple of months in a South Korean prison for an assault charge. Instead, he joined a tour of the heavily guarded DMZ before running into North Korea. U.S. authorities able to bring King back home only after weeks of negotiations, which included Sweden and China. He was said to be in good health and good spirits.
President Biden appealing to American citizens for support in the wars in Israel and Ukraine. During a rare primetime address of the nation last night, Biden urged support for the two nations is key to national security as he prepares to ask for congressional aid. He said American leadership is what holds the world together, adding that both Hamas and Putin represent different threats, but want to annihilate a neighboring democracy. House of Representatives is scheduled to hold its third vote for a speaker this morning. ABC's Jay O'Brien says the results are expected to be the same.
Jim Jordan saying he's willing to go multiple rounds, potentially into the weekend. But the question he didn't answer was, has his plan changed? And what is his plan to flip some of those votes? Because the reality is, if that group of 22 holds together, heck, if Jordan gets most of them, but still 5 of them hold together, that deprives him of the speaker's gavel. And it's unclear what his strategy is to really break those votes.
A one-time attorney for former President Trump going to serve probation for her role in spreading lies about the 2020 election in Georgia. Sidney Powell pleaded guilty yesterday to 6 misdemeanor counts of committing intentional interference. Powell also agreed to testify in the case. Nearly 36 books will be removed from Menominee Falls High School today after the school board deemed them in non-compliance with the district's sexually explicit content and or profanity guidelines. Senior Sean McFerrin says he understands parents have concerns, but tells TMJ4 this feels like censorship.
I think that the school should remember that these books have been reviewed and were put in the school for a reason, and by taking them out, you can be removing the ability for kids to learn such valuable lessons.
In a statement, Superintendent Daniel Munoz said the guidelines were in the previous versions of the policy and procedure and should have been adhered to prior to the revisions made in April. Franklin-based meatpacker Strauss Brands plans to lay off nearly 200 employees and sell 2 of its product lines. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports Strauss alerted the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development October 11th about its intention to permanently lay off the workers, most at their factory in Franklin. The department received a letter from Strauss Brands President Jack Prince, who said the company must make up to 127 of the staff cuts permanent. Strauss is also selling off its veal and lamb production. Quick Trip is closer to being back in business online.
The company confirming Thursday evening that the ongoing outage is a cybersecurity incident, but says there's no indication the customer payment card information was involved. Quick Trip not sharing the source of the cybersecurity incident, but says the affected systems were related to facilities in La Crosse, where their HQ is. The Quick Trip Rewards app and website are still offline, with the company promising updates as soon as that changes and making up missed rewards for customers as well. It's had a number of impacts for Quick Trip customers, especially those who had the Quick Trip card and could not make purchases. It also caused company-wide product shortages of milk and bread. Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 140 points, S&P 500 down 38. The Nasdaq Composite is off 174. It's time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. My lower back and neck feels so much better after a few months' care with Dr. Alex and his team. But here's the thing. It's not only neck and back. Testimonials from my fellow patients. One young lady said, my stomach feels better. Another woman said she no longer has pain in her knees. Many patients talk about getting better sleep. It's worth a consultation with Connect Chiropractic to see how they can help. Book your first appointment at goconnectchiro.com.
We asked people why they sold their homes to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
We looked at a few businesses that purchase homes, and Grandview seemed to be the one that had it together. Not only did we receive a fair offer, but we were able to take as much time as we needed and could leave the house a mess.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
The workplace has changed a lot thanks to technology, and more recently, the shift to a flexible or remote schedule. Your business must adapt to maintain a great culture, attracting quality candidates and keeping them. You need Smart Spaces. The team of interior integrators at Smart Spaces brings creativity and expertise, assessing the walls, ceiling, lighting, flooring, furniture, and audiovisual systems to create places that matter in the modern world, fully functional for those in the building and for others to interact remotely. Get started today at smartspaceswi.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Have you been thinking of updating your bath or shower? Well, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
In a stunning announcement on Thursday, Bucs assistant coach Terry Stotts informed the team of his desire to resign from his position. The Bucs are back in preseason action tonight, the final preseason game of the season, as they will play host to the Memphis Grizzlies. Chris Middleton is expected to suit up for his debut of the preseason. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Over to baseball, where Texas won the first 2 games on the road in their ALCS series, and then Houston returning the favor, winning their last 2 games on the road, including last night's 10-3 Game 4 win. That series now sitting at 2 games apiece. And the Diamondbacks score a run in the bottom of the ninth to win Game 3 by a final of 2-1. Philly still leading that series 2-1. Game 4 is scheduled for tonight. Over to the NFL, where the Jacksonville Jaguars kicked off Week 7 with a 31-24 win against New Orleans. And lastly, the Michigan football program is now under a second NCAA investigation, this time for allegedly violating rules related to sign stealing. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Some pretty significant delays. I-43 94 northbound from Layton into downtown. Usually about a 7-minute drive along that 6-mile stretch. That's going to take you well over 30 minutes this morning due to an incident there. I-94 northbound from Ryan to Layton. That's about a 6-minute drive. Just a couple of extra minutes. We'll keep an eye on that for you this morning.
This report sponsored by Evans Transportation Services, one company for accounting, shipping, and tracking.
Rely on one company for accounting, shipping, and tracking. Evans Transportation Services. Family owned for 40 years and continuing to grow. Evans Transportation Services in Delafield.
WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy, breezy today, high 58. Increasing cloudiness tonight. A chance of showers, a low 45. Chance of morning showers tomorrow, maybe some sprinkles in the afternoon. Saturday's high 58. Sunshine Sunday 53. Chance for Monday afternoon and evening showers, a high 58. And Tuesday, maybe some rain, mostly cloudy, high 68. Madison 48, Green Bay 50, Milwaukee 54. I'm Connie Weber, Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:09.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Sandy Max.
Just me on this Friday, and Charlie, of course, producing the show. So I got a question. I was thinking about this because I got a busy weekend, actually. The weather looks okay. It's typical weather, October, Wisconsin. Hopefully it's nice where you are. And thanks for taking the time to join us. So I asked the show poll question today for a reason. So it's real simple. What's the biggest story on your news radar this weekend? And as I speak, the third vote for speaker, current session, is underway. Right now, Jim Jordan leading 18-12 over Representative Jeffries. 1 other votes. And obviously that's the number people are looking at because Jim Jordan can't afford to lose any votes, and he's already lost 1 because Derek Van Orden from Wisconsin, congressman from western Wisconsin, is actually in Israel, so he won't be voting, so that's 1 vote that he won't get. So we'll keep you posted on that. Expectations are that the number of no or other votes for Jordan will increase in today's vote, and Jordan has said he'll keep all these members here all weekend. So that's one of the things that's going on. So my show poll question, you can find it on Twitter at 620 WTMJ or at WTMJ Steve. Give me a follow if you could. If you're on the X, as it's known now. So what's your biggest story? And you can have a different one, and that's really where I want to go with this. I put Israel at war. Right now that's the leader with almost 150 votes, 44%. Makes sense. Big, big story. The speakerless House, right? So they don't have a speaker, so basically they're just spinning their wheels until they get one. They can't really do anything legislatively. They can't pass a resolution in support of Israel. Funding is all on standby because of this speakerless House situation. That's about 29%. And I threw a one that it was on my mind because I'm working the pregame tomorrow here on WTMJ and ESPN 94.5, 3.5 hours, solid hours on our 2 stations, 2 of the 3. Talking about Packers. Of course, the big game against the Broncos. I think it's 3:25 start. So football is back is the other one of the news stories, and news/sports. But what else is on your mind? 855-616-1620, the old National Bank Talking text line. Right now, the others votes in the U.S. House Speaker vote is 3, so it's rapidly slipping away from Jim Jordan. A few comments on the old X. Michael's going to be at his niece's wedding. Not sure that's a news story, but big news for your niece, obviously. Mike says, the Wisconsin GOP continues to circumvent the will of the people. Will you be asking questions about that? Yeah, we will, and that's certainly important. Tony says, it's Trump and always be Trump until the day he's finally held accountable. There's nothing more important than for our country to see the proof that our democracy has held up through one of the darkest times of our lifetime. So what is your news story? What is your thing that you're watching? Now, I'll be watching all of these stories because I'll be hopefully prepared to talk about them on Monday. Obviously, what happens in the House is important because nothing else is getting done at this moment. With the third vote now for the designated two men, really, Jeffries from the Democrats and Jordan from the Republicans. And the other vote still sitting at 3. So maybe a slight change. Still very early in the process. Only 57 people have voted. We'll see what happens there. I would be shocked if Jordan squeaked it out because that's not been any indication that I've read, seen, heard from anybody that he's going to get the votes. So we'll see what happens. From the old National Bank Talking text line. More love for Bill and Joe. Bill and Joe's analysis of politics is fearless. I hear things here that I don't hear anywhere else. Great show. This show could go nationwide. You know, it could. And if you like it, there's a lot of ways you can contact WTMJ. Tell our bosses that you like the hour because I'm biased. It's the best hour of political conversation on the radio. I don't care who else you're talking about. It is the best. Both of these gentlemen have solid resumes, solid credentials, are tuned in. I learned things from them off mic during the breaks that I wasn't aware of, and I'm fairly tuned in as well. So that's the power of that hour. That's why we call it the Political Power Hour. By the way, producer Charlie is the one that coined that. So you got to give him credit. And he's the guy that put that great intro together. 855-616-1620. What's your big story? Are you watching the House? Are you watching the war in Israel as Israel has amassed tremendous numbers of military equipment along that border of the Gaza Strip, 6 by 25 miles of territory with a few million people in it? Is that the story? Or is it just about the Packers this weekend? Or is it something else that I'm not even thinking of? 855-616-1620. Tell me, and I'll tell you after this. WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Hey, Wisconsin, winter is right around the corner. Get your house ready before the cold hits. WTMJ's Jeff Wagner here for Wagner's Home Improvement Showcase, brought to you by senior real estate specialists Bruce and Jean Nemovitz, Hair Construction, Current Electric, Outdoor Living Unlimited, and Kohler Services. Join us every week to discuss ways to weatherproof your home here on News Radio 620 WTMJ. If you can't catch us live, visit Wagner's Home Improvement Showcase under Features on WTMJ.com.
Hey, Sandy Max here. I've been telling you all summer about my friends at 3 Pillars, Wisconsin's top-rated continuing care retirement community located in beautiful Dousman. 3 Pillars is offering a free CNA training program for adults 18 and over starting November 6th. You get $15 an hour during training, then $21 an hour after successful completion of the course. It's a great entry into an unbelievable career making a huge difference in the lives of others. Find out how you can learn from and work with the best in Wisconsin at 3pillars.org. That's 3pillars.org.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right? It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam, and Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 30-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee, the voice of Green Bay football. You know, fans count on me to make the right call every time, and I can continue to do that thanks to Summit Eye Care of Wisconsin. When my vision began to drift, my eye doctor said Summit Eye Care was the best place to go. Using the latest adjustable implants, the doctors at Summit were able to fine-tune my vision. In fact, my vision is now the best it's ever been. Summit Eye Care was the right call to help me see all the action on game days.
To schedule an appointment at one of their locations, visit summitiwi.com. It's WTMJ Now.
Asking you the big question on this Friday. What's the big news story? Now, Texter says from the 414, boy, Mr. Trump sure sells newspapers. He's a big part of your show almost every day. To which I say this. Would I be doing my job as a radio talk show host if I didn't mention the leading candidate for the Republican nomination for president in the run-up to the big election year next year? The answer to that question is, of course, no, I wouldn't be doing my job. And I shouldn't be doing that job as a radio host if I am afraid to talk about it. Here's the thing about my Republican friends who are Trump supporters. And when I say this, I'm telling you the truth. Friends, family, neighbors, lots of Trump supporters in my group. And you can probably recognize that's the same in your situation as well, because he was president. He was runner-up to Joe Biden in 2020. And he is, at the moment, the leading candidate for the Republican nomination. Now, a lot can happen, and we will talk about that. I'm not going to be afraid to talk about it because it's uncomfortable. We're going to talk about the indictments. We're going to talk about what he says at rallies, what he says about other candidates in his own party, because I think Joe and Bill both alluded to this. The significance of the Trump effect is that we could be seeing a change in what the Republican Party is going to be in the future. And I know this is uncomfortable for some Republicans, and change is difficult. And my question to both of the gentlemen this morning has to do with that. We see Republican congressmen, Republicans, who are basically saying Jim Jordan's our guy, even though everybody, for the most part, is saying Jim Jordan's not going to be the guy. At this moment, numbers are indicating that he's got 8 other votes for other candidates. That means he's not going to be elected speaker on this vote. Now, he has promised to stick around through all of this. So we will see if he's earnest in those promises. But could be a very busy and long weekend ahead for the House of Representatives. Mike starts us off from Illinois. Hi, Mike.
Good morning, Steve. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. What do you think? What's the story?
So I do believe that the speakership is the biggest story because obviously it affects us directly, especially with that deadline looming in November. But it also has a huge effect on the wars in Israel and Ukraine because we are the biggest outside funder of both of those. And if we can't get a speaker, we can't, pass what Biden's asking for. And obviously that affects everybody, not just in this country. So that we need to do that very soon.
Thanks for the call, Mike, calling from Illinois. Look, I think he's right. We look like fools. Now, I understand there's this disruptive element of our country who seems to revel in this stuff, and there's more than a handful of radio talkers who they spend their entire careers and every show they do talking about how they can disrupt as if that's the goal now. I don't live in the playground world. I live in the world where work gets done, where budgets have to be met, challenges are addressed, not just talked about, but addressed. And as the world burns, we're sitting here this should be a procedural matter. But Republicans, those who are more in the chaos disruptor mode, want to play this game. And they want to go over and over again. What was it, 15 votes for McCarthy last time? Jordan's on number 3. God knows how many votes we're going to have this weekend if that's what he's going to do. It's silliness. And I guess if the idea is like a wrestler, which is what Jim Jordan was, I would call him an ineffective, attention-seeking, knuckle-dragging member of Congress who's never authored a piece of legislation that has become law. Think about that for a second. and he wants to be Speaker of the House, someone who can't even author a bill, that other representatives, members of Congress say, that's a good idea, Jim, let's do it. He hasn't achieved that yet in his fairly lengthy tenure. So to that I say, no, you shouldn't have your hands on the Speaker's office or the powers of that office. Diane says, friends don't let friends vote Trump. People can vote for who they want to. I'm actually going to talk about that in my If Steve Ruled the World today, because it's titled Advice for Voters as we get ready for 2024. It's going to be my last political one for a while, because I know I'm going to be talking about Halloween and then Thanksgiving and then Christmas and all the holiday seasons. So we'll go out with a bang on politics today. The simple fact is, and I agree with Mike on this is what matters right now. We are not fighting currently, other than in the form of aid, the war in Israel, or soon to be the war in Gaza. We are assisting, providing some leadership, hopefully, and guidance, along with some military equipment. But our men and women aren't fighting that battle, other than on the warships. This vote, this story, is what the rest of the world is talking about. Now, I know there's a ton of people in this country that they just literally don't care what the rest of the world thinks about anything. I do. Matter of fact, this is a global story. And as much as you want to be siloed in your little communities, pretending it's 1950, that's not the reality of the world we live in now. Things have changed. And if we can't figure out the easy stuff, how in the hell are we going to figure out the hard stuff? The others votes now in the U.S. House Speaker vote, and keep in mind people can change their votes, is up to 13 with about 150 plus votes cast. So lots of heavy lifting, 300 votes to cast remaining. 855-616-1620. One more chance to get your thoughts. The story we should be talking about, the story we should be covering. And I will push back against the Trump stuff, because he is right now the leading candidate for Republicans for president. That dictates, unless you live in a cave or a hole in the ground, that you mention his name every once in a while. Quick break. WTMJ Now.
WTMJ Now. Your weekly Bucks breakdown is back.
They want to win equally as bad as I do.
Bucks Weekly on WTMJ.
Now he joins a team where you have, as he has put it, the best player in the league.
And a new year brings new faces.
You'll see that I've gotten better year after year after year after year.
Get the latest news, analysis, and insight on your Milwaukee Bucks all season long. Bucks Weekly with Justin Garcia every Monday night at 8 on WTMJ. And catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Flimsy, feeble, flaccid. That's how you can describe most pre-approval letters these days. Heck, a lot of big banks issue pre-approval letters using soft credit pulls instead of real credit reports. Do you really want to compete in today's still low inventory market with a soft credit pull and a pre-approval that's silent on 2 of the 3 critical elements of a mortgage approval? A rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet not only verifies your credit with a real credit report, we also verify your income and down payment, and then issue a letter with a $2,000 guarantee to back it up. And now, AccuNet is issuing property-specific pre-approvals that often come with this sweet phrase: no appraisal required. That's right, AccuNet may be able to issue your pre-approval at or above the seller's asking price without needing an appraisal. Today's home market is still a metaphorical knife fight. Your bank is offering you, well, a pocket knife. AccuNet is Crocodile Dundee. Now that's a knife, mate. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Haul away big savings this weekend at Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Like 40-pound bags of superior hardwood fuel pellets, 2 for $11. Morton Clean and Protect water softener pellets are only $5.89 a bag. Save on 40 pounds of black oil sunflower seed, just $18.99. And get a free $15 Fleet Farm gift card with select Science Diet pet food. Stock up on everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm.
October is here, and Griffin dealerships have a spectacular deal just for you. We'll change your oil, check your battery and air filter, inspect and rotate your tires, give your car a complete multi-point inspection, all for $129.95. Worried about your AC or heat? we'll check that too. And we'll even replace your wiper blades. Where quality meets the spirit of October. Don't be spooked by car trouble. Let our expert team take care of your vehicles. Visit Griffin for details. Embrace the magic of the Griffin dealerships today.
WTMJ Now.
Thanks for tuning in on this Friday. I asked the question, what's the biggest story you're going to be watching this weekend? And I put a couple suggestions out there. Packers, of course, for the sports fans, and I'll be watching. The war in Israel. Ground forces potentially going into Gaza, the Gaza Strip, at any moment. Just a quick aside on that. To the New York Times, maybe it's not in the best interest of our country to put overhead pictures of where the troops are on the Israeli side of the border out to the local media, which then gets to the international media, which then tells terrorists where to target. Just an idea. You want a loser from the this war in Israel and Gaza? It's the New York Times. Hellacious coverage. Ridiculous coverage. Afraid to use the word terrorist. Coming up with all kinds of unique ways to use terms that all of us have used forever to soften the impact on Palestinians. And I've said it over and over again. Nothing against Palestinians. But you have chosen, you being Palestinian people, to have a terrorist group represent you. That's a problem. So all of us in America here are looking at that as, when we were tasked hundreds of years ago to fight back for our own rights, we did something about it. Well, this is a moment, perhaps, for the people in Palestine, the Palestinian people, to fight back and say, you know what, we don't want terrorists representing us. Maybe that's the time that conversation would happen. Instead, we have U.S. elected officials ignoring our support of our ally, Israel, jumping up and down Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, in defense of terrorists. Whatever happened to the days where we supported our country and our president in times like this? I hope those days aren't over. Texter says the big issue is the border. I don't disagree with that, but here's the problem. With the inaction, the inability to get a speaker in the House of Representatives, you're not going to fix the border crisis or any crisis because they can't do anything. But I agree with you. The border's a mess and has been for too long. And until we actually have leadership, not bloviation, grandstanding, partisan hackery, or in the case of some really smart people that I have a lot of respect for, silence on this issue, we're not going to get out of this mess. The interesting thing for me is we are being forced as a country right now, I mentioned this a couple days ago, to finally say to all the election deniers, the vaccine people, you know what? Sometimes common sense can prevail. It doesn't mean you can't have an opinion. But facts still matter. And the facts are we need leadership, real leadership. We don't need all the partisan hackery which has consumed our airwaves. It's worthless. It's led to this. It made a lot of people a lot of money. But just like old-fashioned radio and old-fashioned TV, there's a time you change, you move on, you develop, you use your gray matter, and realize that this is not how it's supposed to work. I need 2 callers for virtual baseball. I think it's the second and the last one. Next Friday's the last one. Virtual baseball for 2023. 2 callers, 855-616-1620. Not only will you win a WTMJ prize package, but you have a chance for an entry into the October drawing for a $500 gift card. Yes, $500. You heard right. 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank. Talking text line. I see the phone lines heating up. Who's going to play today? We'll find out after this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Loziga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful new retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed at my home. Now I can have all the cookouts and get-togethers in my backyard with some extra shade and relaxation for my guests. Comfort Awnings is a local family-owned company in Burlington. It provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Right now, you'll receive a free motor with the purchase of awnings or screens until the end of October. Call 414-AWNINGS for a free estimate or visit comfortawnings.com.
Greg Matzik here for Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac, where the SUV season sales event is on. Great timing to experience for yourself the advanced driving technology and standard iActive all-wheel drive that's built into every new Mazda car and crossover. Holiday is the destination to navigate today's car market with confidence. Get more Mazda for your money and more for your trade. Say yes to enticing offers like finance rates as low as 2.9% APR on many Mazda favorites, while you enjoy Team Holiday's transparent, simplified buying approach and genuine award-winning guest care. That's the stuff that delights and makes fans of drivers from all over, and I'm one of them. It's passionate fans who have helped Holiday earn top honors as the Badger State's only recipient of the prestigious Mazda President's Club Award, Wisconsin's #1 Mazda dealer, and top-selling Mazda certified pre-owned dealer. Find yours and discover the difference during the SUV season sales event on now at Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac and at holidaymazda.com. Holiday Mazda, it's worth the trip.
Time is running out to make money moves that can only be done in 2023. Have you taken every step to maximize savings and minimize taxes this year? If there's even a hint of uncertainty, we've got your back. Go to creativeplanning.com/radio and request your free essential end-of-year plan. You'll talk with one of our certified wealth managers who will help you discover what you might be missing. This offer is only available till Monday at midnight. creativeplanning.com/radio.
Rain or shine, grab your bat and let's play ball. It's time for virtual baseball. Brought to you by Siding Unlimited on WTMJ Now.
Yeah, let's get to it. Joining us on the phone line, Jeremy from Mayville. Hi, Jeremy.
Hello.
Pleasure to meet you on the phone. What should we know about Jeremy from Mayville?
Not a whole lot. Wife, 2 kids, retired. That's about it.
What'd you do in your working life?
I drove a mixer, concrete truck.
Heavy lifting, heavy work. Thanks for that. That's a great job. It's a hard job. And enjoy your retirement. All right, let's meet your opponents. Jack from Milwaukee. Hi, Jack.
Good morning, sir.
Pleasure to have you on the show as well. Let's hear about you, Jack.
Thank you, Steve. Well, Jack is still working, looking to retire soon, is a church musician, and works at UPS.
UPS, more heavy lifting. Nice.
Yeah.
And you're about to enter your very busy part of the year, so good luck to you. How's the back?
It actually started last week, Steve.
Oh, it did. Already? October?
Yeah, good.
Wow. I guess
Yeah.
get an early start.
That's because of online shopping.
Yeah, I suppose.
Our peak used to be November. It used to be the day after Thanksgiving until the first of the year. Since we have online shopping, that now goes from the third week in October to the third week in February.
Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah.
Good luck to you. All right, Jeremy and Jack, producer Charlie's going to lay out the ground rules. Imagine us all assembled at home plate at American Family Field. Charlie, take it away.
All right, there are 2 players. That's you, Jeremy and Jack. Each player gets a separate set of 10 highlights. Each set includes an equal number of singles, doubles, triples, home runs, and outs. They are numbered 1 through 10. You get 5 selections, and after 5 swings, we tally your total. And you only record the hit in the highlight, not the runs scored in the highlight. And if there is a tie, the home team gets to try and walk it off. The first caller selected is always the home team. And as Steve said, the winner wins a WTMJ prize package and a chance to win a $500 gift card from our partners at Siding Unlimited.
All right, thank you, producer Charlie. Jeremy, you're going to have to listen because you're the home team, so Jack will bat first, figuratively speaking. Jack, your first selection of the 10 clips.
Number 3.
All right, number 3 is Rowdy Tellez.
Feldner's pitch. Tellez, a drive out to center. Back on it is Doyle. Still back. It's over his head and bounces up against the wall. Yelich scores easily. They're going to hold Adames at third. Tellez checks into second with his second double of the night.
All right, Jack, a nice double. Base runners in scoring position. Great way to start it off. What's your second pick?
Number 4.
Set number 4?
Number 4.
Number 4 is Bryce Terang.
Comes right back with the 1-0 pitch, and it's a ground ball. Fair ball up the first baseline. Gonna roll all the way into the corner. This is extra bases for Terang. He's at second. He's streaking around and headed for third. Here's the throw. It's cut off. Bryce Terang with a triple.
Oh, there we go. So, Jack, you got a run on the board. 1-0 over Jeremy with a runner also in scoring position at third base. Your third pick.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Christian Yelich.
And the 2-2 pitch. Lined into right. This is going to drop in there for a base hit. Brian has to play it on a hop. Around third is Terang, and it's a 3-hit day for Christian Yelich. It's a 9-5 game now.
Single there, so you have a runner on base. Let's see if we can get that third run around. Fourth pick for Jack from Milwaukee.
Number 10.
Number 10 is Tyrone Taylor.
1-1 pitch, a high fly ball, deep left field. Tyrone has left the building.
Oh, Jack. Not
Taylor
messing
with his
around
first hit of
today.
the season.
Jack puts a 2-run homer on the board. So, Jack, you've batted 4 times. You got 4 runs. Doesn't get any better than that. There's still another homer on the board. What's your fifth and final pick?
Number 1.
Number 1 is Owen Miller.
And the pitch. Swinging a liner to the gap in left center. It is going to send Brian Anderson to third, and Owen Miller with a ringing double.
All right, nothing wrong with a double, but that runner will be stranded. Jack, you did very well. 4 runs on the board. So, Jeremy, here's what you got to do. You got to score at least 4 to take us to extras, or walk them off with 5, which is the most runs you can score. So a lot of heavy lifting for somebody who's used to that, driving a cement truck. Jeremy, what's your first pick?
2.
Number 2 is Luke Voigt.
Kershaw working out of the windup here in the 2-2 pitch. Hit pretty well out to center. Racing back is Outman at the track, at the wall. It's off the top of the wall. Outman falls down. The left fielder Thompson has to come over to collect it. And Voigt into second with a stand-up double.
All right, just like Jack, you start off with a double runner in scoring position, so base runner, all-important base runner. Jeremy, what's your second pick?
9.
Number 9 is Joey Weimer.
And the pitch. Ground ball off the diving glove of Rojas and trickles into left. Around third is Anderson. He will score. Terang will stop at third. Weimer finds himself at second. He drives in a big insurance run. It's 4-1 Brewers.
Jeremy on the board with a run, trailing 4-1 to Jack, but just getting started. Runner at second base, also in scoring position. Third pick for Jeremy.
7.
All right, number 7 is Tyrone Taylor.
Taylor winning the pitch. Tyrone, a swing and a bouncer back up the middle. And the play is going to be in time from Vargas.
All right, so that's not a good result, but you still can do it. 4 is the number. You're trailing 4-1 to Jack from Milwaukee. What's your fourth pick?
4.
All right, number 4 is William Contreras.
2-0. Line to right, and it is going to be a base hit and get by the right fielder. Contreras is on the move. He's at second. He's not stopping. He's headed for third. He's in with a triple.
All right, so, Jeremy, you're trailing 4-2. Here's the deal. There's 2 home runs on the board. If you hit a home run, you're going to be tied with Jack, and that takes us to extra innings. So pick carefully for your fifth and final selection.
Number 10.
All right, number 10 is Willie Adames.
Manaea's 1-2. And Adames, a line drive into right field for a base hit.
Oh.
Contreras will trot home. Miller stops
All
at
right,
second.
Jeremy, you just came up short 4-3 against Jack. Jeremy, thanks for playing Virtual Baseball, sponsored by Siding Unlimited.
Thank you.
And enjoy your retirement. Jack, you are our weekly winner of Virtual Baseball. You're going to win a WTMJ prize package and now be entered into our monthly drawing for a $500 gift card. Jack, how you feeling right now?
That is awesome.
All right, stay on the line. Producer Charlie, get all your important information. Charlie, take us to break.
a little bit embarrassing that it took me that long to do the math. I was born in 81. All I had to do was think about my age and subtract a year.
Oh, man.
But instead, I did the math.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik for Flanner's Home Entertainment. By pulling the trigger on an upgrade to your TV and audio system from Flanner's Home Entertainment. In an age of impersonable big box stores and risky online purchases, there is still our locally owned Flanner's, where quality, service, the best brands, and guaranteed best price remain top priorities. Shop Flanner's in West Dallas, Grafton, and at Flanners.com. Flanner's, sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
This is a year of change for Wisconsin football. Whether it's a new quarterback or coach, our teams will be exciting to watch this season. As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows a thing or two about changing things up when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs. Call Evans if your supply chain team isn't running on all cylinders this season. Good luck to our Wisconsin football teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
Hello, it's licensed health insurance agent Mark Christensen, CISMedicare.com, independent Medicare agent, 16 years. We work with 14 companies, 74 plans. Now is the time to review numerous Medicare plan benefit changes. Call me at 262-302-1133 or go to CISMedicare.com and say yes to CIS.
Say yes to CIS. This is a solicitation. We do not offer every plan. Contact 1-800-MEDICARE for more info.
Hey, WTMJ's John Burkier here. I'm looking for the creepiest tub or shower. My guys at Sidex want to replace your tub or shower. The winner gets a brand new complete tub or shower conversion installed at no cost by Sidex. Up to a $10,000 value. They're doing the conversion in my house. Go to WTMJ.com/contest. Everyone's eligible if you live within 50 miles of Milwaukee. Creepiest tub or shower. You get a brand new one. Send us a picture of your creepiest tub or shower. I'll announce the winner live on Wisconsin's Afternoon News on Halloween.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
I'm Brett Matchke, and you're due for service.
Richlands.
Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Brought House, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. There's still room for the October 29th and November 5th games. Book your round-trip ride and get access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your game day experience a VIP experience with your official ride to Green Bay. Visit golfwanakee.com to book your trip today.
You are a guaranteed winner with Siding Unlimited, Wisconsin's best contractor for your home's beauty and defense. Siding Unlimited is siding, of course, but so much more. Windows, roofing, decks. Siding Unlimited is recognized as the MVP in all those areas by customers and suppliers alike. You want major league work done on your house, so start by contacting Siding Unlimited. SidingUnlimited.com.
WTMJ Now.
Congrats to our winner of virtual baseball. Only got one more shot at it this year for the chance to win a WTMJ prize package. And the big one, thanks to the great partner that is Siding Unlimited, a $500 gift card. We do a drawing each month that we play virtual baseball. So good luck to you. I wanted to just spend a little bit of time. My colleague, my teammate, my friend Jeff Wagner made a big announcement yesterday that he's on his show that he's retiring after 25 years. I think his last show is December 15th. So a lot of people ask me, like, what do you think about that? Well, I'll be sad to see Jeff go because it's always fun. And you can tell how much I like Jeff because I always look forward to the transition between the two shows when I finish mine and hand it off to Jeff. And look, someone to do anything for 25 years at the high level, Jeff's done it. You know, one of the top 100 talkers in the country, somebody who is pretty knowledgeable about a lot of things. And, you know, the secret in the sauce of, in my opinion, talk radio is having experience beyond talk radio, and Jeff certainly has that as a former U.S. attorney. That's the real magic, in my opinion. There's plenty of people who all they've ever done is talk. There's a ton of people, trust me, who think you can just show up and do a talk show. it doesn't work that way. The thing that I take away from Jeff and I've appreciated is his willingness to share his expertise, his knowledge, and down to the nuts and bolts of doing a talk show, how you set up a topic, how you develop a topic, how you encourage participation and engagement. Those are like the ingredients to a successful talk show. And Jeff gets that. He will be missed. And I know he'll be around in some form until the end of the year through the best of, which actually is a pretty exciting thing because apparently they're going to go back and like in the archives and find some of the stuff he did in like 2008 and 2012 and the election year 2016 and 2020. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. So we'll be able to react to those things real time on my show as Jeff kind of goes off to do other things. And I love the fact that he already loves playing golf, and he plays golf a lot in the summer and certainly does in Florida. He's still going to be active. You're going to still hear his voice, whether that's doing shows in other places or commercials, whatever it is. That's the secret sauce for Jeff, and I wish him only the best. He's a great teammate and partner here at WTMJ and somebody who gets it, at least from my point of view. He understands the issues better than most. Like, everybody has opinions. Going back to my comment about talk radio. Everyone has opinions. Not everyone has well-founded, intelligent, forward-thinking opinions. And it doesn't mean, so save the text, you have to agree with everything Jeff says. Expecting everyone to agree with everything you say is being about as naive as you could possibly be. So, pump the brakes on that. Jeff's going to enjoy his life, which is exactly what you want to do at this point in your life or his life. And I wish him nothing but the best. So Jeff Wagner, not calling it quits, just, going to a different chapter of his life. And I wish him and Fran the best. He's a great friend here at WTMJ, and it will be sad that he's going. But, you never know what the future's going to hold for Jeff and all the rest of us. So exciting times ahead for WTMJ and all of us at GKB. So good luck to Jeff Wagner. And I was surprised, sort of, yesterday by the announcement, but not unexpected. There's always that next chapter. I've had a couple next chapters in my working life, and you never really know. So good luck to Jeff Wagner. All right, we need calls. Shania Twain tickets up for grabs. I'm going to go to break, but we'll have you call. 855-616-1620 is the Old National Bank talk and text line. We're going to give away the last pair of tickets this week to Shania Twain. Fiserv Forum. On Halloween, I expect to see some sort of a witch costume, I would think. Something like that. #1 female selling country artist of all time, Shania Twain at Fiserv Forum. The Queen of Me 2023 tour. Look at the phone lines light up for Shania Twain. Caller number 10 to 855-616-1620. Caller number 10 will win a pair of tickets to Shania Twain. All right, good luck to you. More of the show after this.
More of WTMJ now after this. Had a rough week? Not to worry. Relax and join Jeff Wagner every Friday at 2:35 for Pop Culture Corner. Brought to you by Palermo's Pizza. Come tell us the best of the best in pop culture, and you could win a prize package from Palermo's.
When it comes to music, who is your GOAT? Greatest of all time. What is, in your opinion, that one movie sequel that was just a bridge too far?
It's Wagner's Pop Culture Corner. Fridays at 2:35 on WTMJ.
What's the way to build your wealth?
If you want to be sure that you're getting financial planning advice you can trust, work with a fiduciary. A fiduciary should be someone who acts as a steward for you. It means they treat your assets as if they were their own, that they protect them as if they were their own, and that they try to grow them as if they were their own. Now you can take this for what it's worth, but I'm doing all I can to run a firm you can trust. That's why we're a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm that doesn't work for anyone but our clients and focuses only on their best interest. By being a steward, being a fiduciary to help our clients reach their financial goals. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
Gruber Law Office,
One call, that's all.
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 Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
We all have someone we know or love that has been affected by some form of cancer.
No matter how well you love and support them and try to be there for them, you can never really know what a person is feeling after hearing the words, "You have breast cancer."
Only another person that has been through this experience can really understand what it feels like.
ABCD, After Breast Cancer Diagnosis, is a Milwaukee-based organization known around the world.
When someone calls ABCD, they are matched with a mentor who is a breast cancer survivor of similar age and has the same type of breast cancer who can provide hope when people need it the most.
Kessler's is excited to announce that we've designed 3 new Hope pendants to honor breast cancer patients, survivors, thrivers, and caregivers.
100% of the net proceeds, along with an additional donation from Kessler's, will support ABCD when you purchase the symbol of hope.
You can find a link with more information about ABCD, along with all 3 modern designs starting at just $75 in sterling silver and $598 in gold, online at KesslersDiamonds.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. WTMJ Now.
Yeah, it's funny when you say something on the radio. Sometimes people are hearing that for the first time. One of the texters said, I wasn't aware that Jeff was leaving, so I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news because obviously the texter is a big fan of Jeff. So, December 15th is his last live show, and then Best of Wagner throughout the rest of the year. And then after that, who knows? Obviously, there's time to fill, and one thing I love about working for Good Karma Brands, GKB, is that they're not afraid to do things that you maybe have never heard or done on the radio before. So looking forward to all of that. I know I'll be here 9 to noon, Monday through Friday. And actually, I'm going to promote something I'm doing tomorrow. So as you know, well, tomorrow and Sunday. So as you know, our partner here, Eric Bilstead, has type 1 diabetes. He's very involved with JDRF, juvenile diabetes, and there's a big walk tomorrow. I'll give you some details in a second on that. But my wife, Kathy, and I will be out there walking, so if you see us, come and say hi. We've already donated to JDRF, and Eric Bilstead is the MC, so that's always worth the price of admission. So we'll be out there. Hopefully the rain holds off and won't be too wet. Definitely not going to be cold, so that's a good thing. And then on Sunday, right here in WTMJ and at our sister station, ESPN 94.5, I'll be part of a team, including like the Jason Willies of the world. I don't know if it's breaking news or not, but Gene Miller's going to join us for a little bit of the show. Talking about Packers. And I did one from Lambeau Field. This one's right here from GKB. We'll be leading you into the Packers game where you can watch it on your TV. That'll be noon to 3:25. Looking forward to talking with all the sports guys. I think Brian Balaga's part of the mix. Who knows? Maybe even a Tauscher. Who knows? Cast of characters broadcasting 3+ hours of Packers pregame. And if you heard me from Lambeau, one thing I love talking about is pro football, and especially the Green Bay Packers as a season ticket holder. Not breaking news, but the vote has been taken in the House of Representatives. Interesting vote, because we know that Representative Jim Jordan from Ohio has been seeking the speaker position. He's losing ground. I think his first vote was 20, then 22, now 25, essentially no votes. And if you look at the tally, Hakeem Jeffries has 210. He's the Democrat. Jim Jordan, the Republican, has 194, and then 25 other votes for other people. So at this moment, he does not have the votes, Jim Jordan, to be Speaker of the House, and no one does, because you have to have 217. And that number can change based on attendance, so it's not, I don't think it's shifted to 216 yet, but anyway, Jeffries is 6 away, and he's not going to gain any ground because all the Democrats are voting for him that are available. So interesting times in the House. So I'm going to just echo quickly before we go to break why this matters. And it's really 2 reasons. One, the business at hand. The House, and really Congress for that matter, can't do their work. So we have 430 plus members of the House and 100 U.S. senators not twiddling their thumbs, but wasting a lot of time that they could actually get important work done. And by the way, that's the reason we send them to Washington. And big picture for Republicans, and this hurts me as a Republican voter, This just looks bad. And I do blame the former president because he's one of the strongest proponents and supporters of Jim Jordan. This is not probably going to work out for Jim Jordan. And it's another no votes for the former president, who's essentially, in his time post-presidency, complained about the election that he lost, and two, hurt the candidacy of a lot of good Republicans, good, decent, honest Republicans, who are just trying to win their races. He's a drag, or as I like to say, a boat anchor on Republican politics. And before you call me a Trump hater, I'm just trying to win the next election for Republicans for president. You can be a Trump supporter till the end of your days and beyond. But your goal, I would think, if you care about policy, which is what I care about, should be about winning elections. And what do we know in Wisconsin? What is it, 13 of 16 that we've lost as Republicans in Wisconsin? Lost the presidential race. The Senate controlled by Democrats. And I have to think, as I'm watching this unfold live on TV on one of our monitors, this is a good way to lose the House. If you don't like Joe Biden's policies, keep doing this. This is a waste of our time, waste of our money, and frankly, a waste or an absence of leadership. And maybe that's a message you need to hear more often, because the silence is deafening from Republicans and conservatives who don't say those things. I understand you're in the business of propping up some of this nonsense, which is unfortunate, but this is the recipe for losing WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Poor Jack Skellington. It can get terribly boring being the Pumpkin King. But what if he could take over Christmas? Now that would be something spooktacular. Come and experience all of the mad, merry mayhem that ensues when the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra performs The Nightmare Before Christmas live to film October 28th and 29th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Conductor Nicholas Buck will lead the MSO in Danny Elfman's macabre masterpiece of a score as Tim Burton's beloved stop-motion musical plays on the big screen. Are Christmas and Santa Claus doomed? Find out when you come to The Nightmare Before Christmas live to film with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. Tickets are selling fast, so call now for yours, 414-291-7605 or online at mso.org.
Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning, 11 o'clock. We have 55 degrees, partly cloudy, breezy today with a high of 58. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Third vote for a new speaker, and it looks like Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan is losing again with even more defectors this round. This as the House enters its 17th day without an elected leader. A 30-year-old is dead and a 7-year-old in stable but serious condition after a shooting just south of the Mitchell Park Domes. TMJ4's Megan Lee.
A man was riding his bike here in the area when he heard the shots ring out and rushed over to help.
I was just in shock too, as everybody else. I was like, whoa, that just happened in like 0.5 seconds.
He was in the middle of tending to the man who was hit when he was told there was a child in the back seat.
And I ran around the car, make sure that the kid was okay, and he got shot in his nose, like on his left nostril, and then he started bleeding bad.
Milwaukee police trying to find out what led to this, and they're looking for the shooter. After nearly 6 decades, there may be some new developments at a cold case in Menominee Falls.
Police Captain Gene Nahart tells WTMJ the department will be hosting a news conference next Wednesday to provide an update on the 1966 murder of Diane Olkwitz. Nearly 60 years ago, Olkwitz was stabbed more than 100 times at the Kenworth manufacturing facility. Her murderer was never caught. Representatives from the FBI, Wisconsin Department of Justice, and Milwaukee Police will also be on hand to provide an update and recent developments in the investigation. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
The war between Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas rages on. Israel's called up around 360,000 troops, mainly reservists, as its ground invasion into Gaza could come at any time. The death toll now at 5,100, and the calls are growing louder around the world. End the bloodshed.
Yet another section of the world now united. Arab Gulf and Southeast Asian nations united in one voice in their call for a ceasefire. Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud.
The only way to end a cycle of violence is through a lasting resolution to the conflict.
At the conclusion of the Gulf Cooperation Council Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit in Riyadh, a joint statement strongly condemning attacks on civilians in Gaza. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Sales of existing homes fell again last month. That's as high mortgage rates take a toll. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has details.
Homeowners who locked in low rates don't want to move, so there are not enough homes on the market for all the buyers out there, and that is keeping prices high. Plus, for now at least, the Federal Reserve is signaling it could be a while before interest rates come down. Now, typically, if you are trying to buy a home, you want to try to set aside 20% of the home's value for a down payment. But in a sign of just how tricky this housing market is, especially for first-time buyers, 30% of homes that sold in September were all cash offers.
Nearly 36 books will be removed from Menominee Falls High School today after the school board deemed them in non-compliance with the district's sexually explicit content and or profanity guidelines. The district says those guidelines were in the previous versions of the policy and procedure guidelines and should have been adhered to prior to the revisions made in April. CVS stores across the country discontinuing sales of cold medicines that contain a drug now labeled as ineffective by the FDA. Company officials have told CBS News they plan to stop selling over-the-counter products that use phenylephrine as their only active ingredient. FDA advisors recently informed the agency there does not seem to be any improvement in congestion when using the drug. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 153 points. The Nasdaq is down 156. And the S&P 500 down 36 points this hour. Annex Ignite. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. They'll meet you where you're at. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
You can find affordable holiday decor at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. Find cute Christmas decorations, ornaments, trees, and home decor, all at thrift store prices. Gift cards are also available for that shopper on your Christmas list. You'll never overspend on holiday items from St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Team Pella executing incredible plays. Products with limited lifetime warranties. Amazing innovations. Blinds and shades between the glass. Stylish windows with hidden screens that make game days a breeze. Installation completed in as little as a day, leaving no mess or hassle. Just perfect results. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com. 6.99 APR for 120 months. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offers end 10/31/23.
If you can't get a good night's sleep, let me ask you, are you breathing well? Because if you're snoring or waking up each night with a stuffed up nose, or frustrated with your CPAP mask, the root of your sleep problem lies in your breathing triangle. And if any one of those passages isn't working, you won't sleep well. And there's no mattress, pill, or other gimmick that can fix that. I'm Dr. Long with a world-class team that can get your nose working properly again.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
In a stunning announcement on Thursday, Bucs assistant coach Terry Stotts informed the team of his desire to resign from his position. The Bucs are back in preseason action tonight, the final preseason game of the season, as they will play host to the Memphis Grizzlies. Chris Middleton is expected to suit up for his debut of the preseason. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Over to baseball, where Texas won the first 2 games on the road in their ALCS series, and then Houston returning the favor, winning their last 2 games on the road, including last night's 10-3 Game 4 win. That series now sitting at 2 games apiece. And
the Diamondbacks score a run in the bottom of the ninth to win Game 3 by a final of 2-1. Philly's still leading that series 2-1. Game 4 is scheduled for tonight. Over to the NFL, where the Jacksonville Jaguars kicked off Week 7 with a 31-24 win against New Orleans. And lastly, the Michigan football program is now under a second NCAA investigation, this time for allegedly violating rules related to sign stealing. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. We had a freeway closure about an hour ago, I-43 and 94. That has been reopened, so drive time's now pretty typical again in that stretch of roadway. I-43 northbound from downtown to Brown Deer Road. It's going to take you about 15 minutes, normally about an 11-minute drive. Look for some road construction closures, mostly on the ramps in that area this morning.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Help fellow commuters. See an accident? Call the WTMJ Hall Mazda Traffic Tip Line, 414-238-9329. Visit Hall Mazda to support their Drive Out Cancer event.
WTMJ 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy, breezy today, high of 58. Then increasing cloudiness tonight. A chance of showers mainly northeast, a low 45. Chance of morning showers tomorrow, sprinkles in the afternoon, high 58. Sunny on Sunday, 53 for the high. Chance for afternoon showers Monday, high 58. And again, Tuesday, chance for rain, mostly cloudy, high 68. Madison 52, Green Bay 55, Milwaukee 55 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
It's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Sandy Max.
And happy Friday, everybody. Just me on this Friday, but joining me in studio is my pal, teammates, host of... What's the official title? I always forget the official. The Weekend Morning News.
No, Wisconsin Weekend Morning News.
Yeah, there's 4 things.
And
Wisconsin Weekend Morning News.
That's on
Libby
Sunday
Collins.
mornings. Yeah. And then at 11 on Sundays, Conversations.
Which is why you're here. And I love these weekly kind of updates because, one, you have fascinating guests. And this week is really, really interesting because I'm somebody who appreciates journalists, people who do the hard, heavy lifting on stories that are significant, not just locally, but across this great planet of ours. So you got a good one this week.
Let me tell you about Judy Rakowski. She was in town a couple of weeks ago because she's got a book, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But let me tell you about Judy. Judy is a long-time reporter who has specialized in courts, police, and investigative work. She worked for the Boston Globe, and let me tell you about this. She actually, when she was in Rhode Island at their paper in Providence, broke the original story about the Catholic Church and the sex abuse scandal. She then moved to the Boston Globe. They said to her, Judy, will you be our lead reporter? And she said, it's really emotional. I can't do that. So instead, you saw the people in Spotlight. Judy wasn't one of them, but she knew all those people. In addition, she covered people like Whitey Bulger, if you remember that, infamous mobster, and a number of other stories. But all during that time, she was making these trips to Eastern Europe. And the reason had to do with her cousin Sam, who had survived the Holocaust. And she writes about him in her book. You talked about your cousin Sam. He was a Holocaust survivor. How did he get through that?
First of all, he was a young, healthy male. He was in his late teens, and that helped a lot. He was able to work, whether it was shoveling coal or any kind of factory job. Having that physical resilience to start with was helpful. And he also will say there was luck. Every small gesture could be the difference between life and death. The kinds of things that people put into fiction stories, or you think this can't be true. And also there was the luck. One day he was supposed to go out to work with this crew, and he just got this intuition and didn't go out that day, and everybody else was shipped to Auschwitz. It's just so hard to fathom that your instinct or your whim one day could be the difference between life and death.
And Sam was only a teenager during the Holocaust and did survive, but other members of his family not only didn't survive, they just disappeared. And that is one of the reasons Judy started accompanying Sam to Poland to find out what happened specifically to one of their cousins.
A neighbor ratted out the doulas. Many people in that testimony said, I don't know who shot. I was securing the perimeter.
These were not Germans.
No, these are Poles. And that's a very significant point. The Roseniks, what Henya witnessed, as the book starts and reveals, was that her family was taken to an attic window in the house and forced to jump out one by one and were shot from below.
And she saw this.
From everything I know, she saw this.
And why was she not with them at the time?
She was 16 years old, and that night was a rare time when her family had gone into the house because it was a very strong rainstorm. And she was a teenager, so she didn't join them. We don't know exactly why, but we can presume that, she didn't want to.
And it's interesting where I asked her, these were not German soldiers, they were Polish soldiers, and they were part of a very elite group of Polish soldiers who many looked at as heroes because they were behind the Warsaw Uprising. And she talks about the secrets in Poland and what still exists today. And also in her book, the book is titled Jews in the Garden, and it's a rather interesting title, and I don't want to give it away as to why the book is titled that. You've got to listen on Sunday.
But you'll share that story.
Absolutely. And the other part of this is, obviously, with what has happened in Israel over the last couple weeks, I called Judy the other day, and I had to get her feelings about what we're seeing now. Over the last couple weeks, we have seen an attack on Israel by Hamas. And every day we learn more and more about the horrors that were committed against very innocent people. And it seems to me that there is a striking resemblance to what you write about in your book.
We just don't seem to learn unless there's something visceral and recent. And it's really sad. Some people, when my book came out, they said, oh, that's not a beach read. Oh, I don't know if I want to read something that grim. And now everyone's riveted again to, what's happening. And I just wish we didn't have to keep seeing horrible atrocities happen for us to remember that we can't hate. I mean, hate just doesn't get us anywhere. And here we are again.
That's some powerful stuff. I mean, I will be listening on the way into work on Sunday, and Judy Rakowski is a fantastic guest in her book, Jews in the Garden. Just one of those stories is worth tuning in for. But, I mean, she's had a life well lived as a journalist and somebody who's felt these stories personally. And the last piece about the attack on Israel, I mean, that does hit you.
And she has relatives, very close relatives right now, who are part of the Israeli Defense Force. And,
powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. And again, we'll tell it all to you on Sunday on WTMJ Conversations.
She is Libby Collins, host of Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News and Conversations, which is, I like to pump my political power hour up as one of the best hours on WTMJ. Conversations is something you should always listen to.
Well, that's so sweet of you. Thank you.
It is that good, and the guests you get are amazing. And was it Scott Klug last week and Judy Rakowski this week? Who else is coming up next?
I don't want to give it away, but we've got some good ones coming.
Libby Collins, always a pleasure. All right, after the break, if Steve ruled the world, some advice for voters as we get ready for the year of the elections. That's next on WTMJ.
It's WTMJ Now.
WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me as we count down to the RNC in Milwaukee. We'll talk to the biggest names across the political landscape.
Senior political reporter from TMJ4 News, Charles Benson.
We got a sense of, how Milwaukee was enthusiastic about this convention.
Full podcast available on WTMJ.com or text RNC to the Old National Bank talk and text line 855-616-1620 and get a link sent directly to you. It's the countdown to the RNC podcast, only here on WTMJ.
I'm Susan Hiller from Hiller Ford on Highway 100. Have you seen the exciting all-electric Mustang Mach-E? It's a really hot-looking car. We have a great selection of 2023 Mustang Mach-E's in stock. They all come with factory rebates up to $9,250. That makes it a truly great deal. This and many more great deals await you at Hiller Ford. Stop in today and see how much you can save, and see why so many people love to buy from Hiller Ford.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button back in June. Senior loan consultant Brad Kramer issued a credit-verified pre-approval the same day, and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. Well, they made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about our brand new property-specific pre-approval letter, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer at $30,000 over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their updated rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included the phrase that pays in the eyes and ears of the seller, and that translated to donedeal.com. If you think all mortgage companies and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with the local mortgage lender that has the tools and the know-how to help you win and save you money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Hi, I'm Susan Hiller with Hiller Ford on Highway 100. Well, it's that time of year again. The leaves are falling, and so are our prices here at Hiller Ford. Right now, we're offering 1.9% FlexBuy financing for 66 months on 2024 Ford Edges. Plus, you get a $2,000 factory rebate. We also have over 70 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles. There's a lot to choose from at Hiller Ford. Stop in and find out why so many people love to buy from Hiller Ford.
If Steve ruled the world.
Imagine that.
If Steve ruled the world.
All right, I thought about yesterday. Let me get my volume. So there we go. I thought about it yesterday. So we're going to start to have some Halloween-themed Steve Ruled the World, and Thanksgiving, and Black Friday, and Christmas. So I thought a little more time on the voting thing, because we're going to start to get into this year of madness, insanity, the chaos of politics. So I thought, all right, I'm going to craft one here called Some Advice for Voters on the Upcoming Election Year. So I think it's an easy one, right? None of this is going to surprise you. I'm not going to tell you who you should vote for. That's going to be up to you. I figure if you're an adult and you can't figure out who deserves your vote, then nothing I'm going to say is going to move the needle much. I'm also not going to pretend that somehow miraculously the world will change significantly if your candidate wins or loses on Election Day, because that's not the case. I know that most politicians don't really care about the work product as much as they care about winning elections and raising money. And then, of course, one side or the other will be mad about the results and will be plotting their revenge in the next election or on talk radio or talk TV, so on and so forth. And as I've said many times over the last year or so, these may be the last shots for the old white male candidates running for election. I think we've all seen how that story ends, right? Maybe that's a good thing, or maybe we'll just replace them with old white females and see if there's any difference. I'm guessing there isn't, but it certainly would get us all up to speed on some new terms like first husband, Madam President, and the old girls club.
Are we clear? Are we clear?
Rule the world. All right. Somebody asked me this question the other day. Steve, why do we vote? Because the 20th Amendment requires a new Congress take office on January 3rd every other year, and a new presidential term starts on January 20th every 4 years. Simple as that. Given, however, the complexities of counting the votes and the barrage of absolute BS that has happened in Wisconsin since the last, and the world really, since the last presidential election, hello Gableman, Gates, Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, Janelle Branchen, I could just keep going, but you know what I'm talking about. I personally would like to see an earlier fall election day, maybe mid-October. Since adults have ruined the lead up to Halloween with their ridiculous costume and drinking parties and their silly yard decorations, more elaborate than the theme parks at Disney, I do know this. It's easier than ever to vote, right? So easy. We're almost to the point where someone drives to your house, hands you a ballot, you vote, and they drive it back to City Hall. At least that's how it used to be until, the investigation. All right, right. You know what? Regardless of what happens in any election going forward in Wisconsin, now somebody is always going to complain. That's a given. Oh, my God, my rights were violated. Milwaukee takes too long to count the votes. That clerk texted somebody I don't like. They tweeted something that made me mad. I can't believe they're inconveniencing me like that. Oh, my God. I hope my vote still gets counted. How do we know that wasn't a Russian agent trying to disrupt the election? Oh, my goodness.
Lighten up, Francis.
If Steve ruled the world.
I don't know if that was for me or what I said, but I'll go with it. Here's a quick primer for those of you who are actually going to vote at your local polling place. Leave the MAGA hats at home. Forget about the political messaging on your favorite T-shirt that you probably don't wash as much as you should. And don't ask political questions of the poll workers. One, they probably don't know the answer. And two, they shouldn't be talking about politics at the polls. However, if you're a mouth breather or a knuckle dragger like Jim Jordan, and surveys say that more mouth breathers and knuckle draggers vote on Election Day than pre-vote or turn in an absentee ballot, keep doing what you're doing. And by all means, try to avoid making speeches. Or again, pretending you know anything about science or politics, even though your brother in Jersey who knows a doctor in Queens whose cousin said that is what's really going on. Nobody cares who you vote for. Nobody wants your take on politics or vaccines or gas prices or Joe Biden or Donald Trump or really anything you have to say about anything. If they did, you'd probably work in radio or be that guy who everybody knows who sits at the end of the bar in some local tavern who people look at and nod their head in agreement, even though inside they're saying to themselves, please shut up, please shut up. Oh, by the way, here's their favorite song.
If Steve ruled the world.
Never gets old, and I've done it 100 times. Here's what you need to do. Walk inside your polling place. Go in the right line. It usually doesn't anybody the first letter of your last name. Show them your ID. Don't complain about it. Vote. Take the ballot. Vote. Then walk to the voting machine and either hand it to the person working there or place it in yourself. Then walk out. Oh, by the way, if the local boys club or Girl Scout group is selling baked goods, buy some. Otherwise, that's it. You're done. If you want one, take an I voted sticker. Generally makes you feel good and usually means you at least combed your hair before you left the house. You could take a nice I voted selfie. Again, no one cares about that because you did your civic duty, which you're supposed to do. But you want to celebrate that fact. I get it. Then go home and read a book. You're overly anxious about who's going to win, which is all of us, right? Probably means you're too invested in politics. Probably should keep your TV off. You have to absolutely watch TV, avoid MSNBC or Fox, because that's just straight up crazy. That's the wrong kind of crazy, Charlie, but nice try. And for the movie lovers out there, if you're curious, that's the theme song from Vision Quest starring the one, the only Matthew Modine, one of the great movies of all time about a wrestler, not Jim Jordan.
If Steve ruled the world.
I've often thought that the best way to understand where a candidate is coming from is to look at their feelings when it comes to fast food, bakery, or pizza. If they don't get the power of a good donut, a big slice of pizza, or a Big Mac, I'm not sure I trust their judgments on anything else. That's why vegans scare me so much. Sure, they lower their risk of heart disease with their crazy diets, but did you know they actually have a higher risk of stroke? Yes, look it up. What kind of trade-off is that? Give me a candidate who could take down a donut or a big slice of New York pizza in a couple bites, and I'll show you a candidate who not only understands that men will always beat women in swimming. There's a lot to that one. But who can also understand the complexity of the Iran nuclear agreement, or how to figure out the NFL quarterback rating, all the while knowing that the proper body contortion is necessary for a rousing stadium edition of YMCA. You hear me?
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for
If Steve ruled the world.
All right, sit down. I know your butt was moving in that car if you were driving, listening to me. I know you. That's okay. That's good. That's all good. If you ever hear a candidate use any of the following terms or phrases, run away as fast as you can. Oh, that's a real kitchen table conversation. First off, no one eats at kitchen tables anymore. That's why everybody's so impatient now. We're essentially animals who eat in the same place where we sleep, watch TV, or do God knows what else. Here's another one. What the American people want. This is especially dumb because Americans don't agree on anything, let alone what the country should look like. We can't even agree that shows like The Kardashians or The Bachelorette have resulted in a population that is completely fixated on themselves or with people with the name Chad, Brad, or Tiffany. Another one. This election is the most important in our lifetime. What a selfish, self-important comment that is. Every election is important. Just like every picture tells a story. Every cloud has a silver lining. Every rose has its thorn. We get it. There are simple truths in life. Like regardless of who nominates a Supreme Court candidate, the other party's not going to like them very much. And while I'm at it, this is the only speech from an elected official I ever want to hear.
And you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
If Steve ruled the world.
Kill those damn aliens I don't even believe in. All right, last but not least. I know some of you are still stressed out about the coming elections next year and what it could mean for the future of our country. I get it. I've seen all the crazy social media posts telling the rest of us how you feel about Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or the guy who was mean to you at Target. Big stuff for sure, but I got to be honest. Regardless of who wins or loses, I think you're all in for a bit of disappointment. It's not really about the person anymore, but the party they represent. Until we figure out that piece of this puzzle and why our elected officials are so afraid of other elected officials or doing the right thing, I'm not sure we're ever really going to get to the crux of the problem. You know it's us, right? Maybe this week, all of us voters get the Benny Hill. That is this week's
If Steve ruled the world.
Take us to break, Charlie. YMCA!
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for young men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel.
Breakthroughs aren't just for medical journals. They're to help people hold their grandbabies for the first time. Expertise isn't just for awards or recognition. It can be what gives people the best chance to walk again. At the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, people are the driving force behind everything we do. So we never lose sight of what's important. And we never forget who it's for. Because in the end, we're people helping people. That means every breakthrough, every clinical study, every interaction is to help people like you, your family, and your neighbors be the best they can be. We do everything possible because we see everything possible in you. To find out how compassion motivates world-class care, Visit Freighter.com.
What's the way to build your wealth?
I want to talk about annuities and variable life insurance policies. And I'm going to come right out and say that I've never been a fan of either. In fact, in over 30 years, I have rarely recommended annuities to clients. And in that same time, I've never recommended a variable life insurance policy. Now, it's always a matter of opinion, and there are two sides to every story. I just want to make sure that you've heard both sides for both options. So if you're looking at those types of products, give us a call, because it's prudent to hear all sides. At the very least, we can give you the pros and cons and help you make a good decision. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies. What's the way to build your wealth?
WTMJ Now.
Hey, I love the fact that you listen to Steve Rule the World, and I love the fact you tune in. So here's a quick look at the world of the text line, the old National Bank Talking text line. Steve, you rock is one side. And the other one from the 414, that was Wendy from Germantown. Love you, Wendy. Thanks for that. And she sent me a little drum set that says you rock on it and a Superman symbol. Love that. Then I get this from the 414. You preach tolerance but verbally bully people that you don't agree with. Shake my head. It's more tongue-in-cheek than anything else. That's the nuance of listening, if I can use that phrase. How you consume things, understanding that the little jabs that are sprinkled throughout, if Steve Ruled the World this week, the advice for voters, are intended to spur some thoughts in your gray matter. Democrats, your guy looked old last night. Republicans, your leading nominee for the office of president, got more bad news today as another one of the indictments in Fulton County, Georgia, indictees, I should say, in Fulton County, Georgia, pled guilty. And this one is Kenneth Cheesebro. I think it's Chesbro, but I'm going to call him Cheesebro because he's one of those guys that spent some time in Wisconsin, actually, the whole fake electors thing. And trust me, that story's not over yet either. And I said this with Joe and Bill earlier. What's happening here is one by one, all of these other indicted individuals are pleading guilty. So at the end of the day, this is a prediction. It's Donald Trump standing there with every one of these people testifying against him. Every one of them. Which does a couple things. One, it makes his arguments, his defense, much harder. And two, speeds up this trial, believe it or not. Because having 19 defendants versus one takes a lot more time. Thanks for the comments on Steve Ruled the World. I appreciate that. All right, we'll take another break here. Still got 20 minutes or so. We got Week in Review coming up. As I said, breaking news. The story in the House is, don't even know what the story is because I'm on the air, and the other big story is, will Ohio Representative Congressman Jim Jordan keep asking for votes? Or will he finally come to his senses, knock all that wrestling out of his head, and decide, this is probably not a good plan for not only the Congress, the House, but America? We'll get to all of that in the remaining bits of the show right here on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Your first night camping alone. The new tent, fully set up. Your bug spray, barely keeping up. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free overdraft protection transfers. So when you bought all those supplies and lost track of your spending, we had you covered. You got this with free overdraft protection transfers from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Retro Foam and Capital Heating and Cooling. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Team Pella executing incredible plays. Products with limited lifetime warranties. Amazing innovations. Blinds and shades between the glass. Stylish windows with hidden screens that make game days a breeze. Installation completed in as little as a day, leaving no mess or hassle, just perfect results. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com. 6.99 APR for 120 months. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offers end 10/31/23.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
WTMJ Now.
Thank you for tuning in on this Friday. WTMJ Now is the program. WTMJ is the station. GKB is the company, and we are located in the Avenue Studios in beautiful downtown Milwaukee, but I know we go all over the place now with streaming. If you want to find the show when you're not available 9 to noon, go to YouTube. Just Google the show. WTMJ.com. All the big ones. Apple, Spotify. It's all there. You can find the show, the interviews, the features, the one I just did of Steve Ruled the World, which I thought was especially brilliant today. And Jeff disagrees with one of the texters who said I was a bully. Jeff says, I strongly disagree with the bullying accusation. Steve is very respectful to those whom he disagrees. And to that I say, absolutely. Now get the hell out of here. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, Jeff. Jeff is a loyal listener, fan of WTMJ, and he knows of what he speaks. He knows every show in detail, and he knows the hosts very well. So, Jeff, good guy. Appreciate the comments. All right, so all this week I've been telling you about this. This is an opportunity. We have a great partner, Sidex, right? So if you have a shower or tub that is looking, to use the Halloween analogy, creepy, like a horror movie, we're giving you an opportunity to do something about it. So whether it's dingy, moldy, gross, out of date, whatever, just leaking, whatever, just plain creepy, sign up for the Sidex Creepiest Shower Contest. What is that? Take a picture of your nightmare bathtub or shower, upload it to our website, safe and secure, WTMJ.com, and be entered to win a free tub or shower conversion. Simple as that. I can't win. Charlie can't win. Nobody that works here can win. We're all disappointed about that, trust me. You can win an upgrade of $10,000 installed absolutely free. No cost to you. Up to $10,000. Here's how you do it. Text the word Sidex. Not side, not sides, but S-I-D-E-X. S-I-D-E-X. Trust me, I've seen a lot of variations on this. I want you to win. Someone has to win. I want it to be you. And if you don't text Sidex, you make it a lot harder on yourself. S-I-D-E-X to the Old National Bank talk and text line 855-616-1620 to upload the picture and show us your creepy shower space. And a little inside baseball here. Even if it's not creepy and just want it updated, send that picture in too. You can still win. It doesn't have to be creepy. You can even do fake creepy. You have all these Halloween decorations now where you can make things look like cobwebby and scary looking. Right?
What about fake blood?
That goes too far. It's not psycho. It's not a psycho contest, producer Charlie. No, that's too far. That is too far, and I'm not going to put up with that. But it's an interesting idea because it is Halloween. I get where you were going. I think you just went too far with the concept. That's a fair assumption.
Well, you got to remember, at least the fake blood doesn't dry up brown, so.
It doesn't. It still looks red, and it's still scary. Anyway, you got up to October 27th. What's today, the 20th? I think so, right? All right. Text the word Sidex. S-I-D-E-X to 855-616-1620. Upload that picture to WTMJ.com, and you could win a $10,000 upgrade. I hope somebody sends this read to Sidex because I sold the heck out of that. And I'm serious. I would love the upgrade. One of the things my wife and I have been talking about is upgrading our main bathroom, that shower area. They got all kinds of newfangled ideas, multiple shower heads, overhead, sideways, walk-ins. I got a traditional tub still in a shower. I'm so far out of date, Charlie. So far out of date. All right, Side X. I want to see it. 855-616-1620. After the break, ladies and gentlemen, an assembled crowd and listeners. The Week in Review, sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. That's next.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Hey, got a reminder for you. It's Sweetest Day weekend. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Take your love to the historic Fox and Hounds restaurant for a free dinner. I recommend the Friday cod fish fry and the Sunday brunch. Both are all you care to eat and one of the best. All other dinners are buy one, get one free tonight and throughout the weekend. Order your favorite steak, seafood, pasta, the delicious steak and lobster. Your second dinner is always free. Desserts and those huge ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. Sip on a delicious old-fashioned, a Manhattan, a bourbon, over 100 fine wines, ice-cold beer. The Fox and Hounds tucked into the Kettle Moraine Forest, spectacular setting, and winners of the Top Choice Award for Most Romantic Restaurant and Best Supper Club. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the Holy Hill Shrine, the drive through the colorful Kettle Moraine is breathtaking. A must-see. Enjoy a free dinner tonight and this weekend. Reserve now. foxandhoundsrestaurant.com, the famous Fox and Hound.
So I came to Advent because I was experiencing recurrent sinus infections. As a new mom, it was really kind of difficult.
Many of our patients complain of sinus infections. The headaches, fatigue, and nasal stuffiness have a profound effect on their lives.
I just felt like your sickness starts affecting your energy level and, the things that you really enjoy doing. That really was a breaking point for me.
So Molly came to Advent. Abnormally tight sinuses and swollen turbinates led to simple breathing triangle solutions that ended up taking about 20 minutes in office. And very soon thereafter, she was breathing freely.
I'm just in awe at the amount of air that that I'm able to breathe in and out each night, and I haven't had a sinus infection since the procedure.
I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. When you breathe well, you do live better.
Results may vary. Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave. Don't treat yourself like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
You just can't pass on Less is Glass. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Have you been thinking of updating your bath or shower? Well, Kohler Services is a local end-to-end bath and shower design and remodel service brought to you by Kohler, a family-owned business in Wisconsin for 150 years. Kohler is the only manufacturer offering fast, professional installation and care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote and tell them that I sent you. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Smart investors make their savviest moves at year-end. Let us show you how to be one of them. Go to creativeplanning.com/radio and request your free end-of-year plan, an essential blueprint for maximizing wealth, minimizing taxes, and setting the stage for a prosperous year ahead. Making the right moves before the end of 2023 could put some serious money back in your pocket. This offer is only available till Monday at midnight. Go to creativeplanning.com/radio to request your free plan today.
WTMJ Now.
This next comment has nothing to do with anything, but the local weather folks need to go easy on the teeth whitener. It's like blinding. It's just weather, folks. We're not tuning in to see how wet your teeth are. Give it a break. It's good for dentists, though, so I appreciate that. All right. We do this every week on the show. The Week in Review. The president visits a war-torn Israel, a critical crossroads for the HOP. Department of Justice prepares to close, and more. It's the Week in Review brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Come and knock on our door.
What are you kissing me for?
Suzanne Summers has died.
I used to do aerobics till I dropped. Then I found Thighmaster.
Her family says Suzanne Summers battled breast cancer for 23 years.
A court appearance and funeral today in Illinois after an anti-Muslim attack.
A plea not yet entered, but 71-year-old Joseph Zuba now has a public defender accused of stabbing 6-year-old Wadia Al-Falyoume to death 26 times, apparently in fear over the war between Israel and Hamas.
He said, "You Muslims must die."
There is no place for hate in America.
Milwaukee police have charged a man in connection with the death of a 12-year-old boy whose body was found malnourished and decomposing.
Roman Moy is so far facing 3 counts of chronic neglect of a child and failure to report the death of a child.
No matter if it happens in the house or if it happens from somebody outside the house, is totally unacceptable.
The vote is green. Let's get this done.
The $545 million to fund maintenance at the ballpark now heads to the state Senate following its passage through the Assembly.
I cannot, in good conscience, support corporate welfare schemes.
If they leave, we will lose hundreds of millions of dollars.
What this looks like to me, and even amended, is sleight of hand.
This is a good deal for Wisconsin.
In Gaza, a blast has destroyed a hospital, potentially killing hundreds.
The strike hitting the parking lot of the Al Ahli hospital in Gaza City, an area Israel has urged Palestinians to evacuate from.
Based on the information we've seen to date, it appears the result of an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group in Gaza.
This is a special report from ABC News. President Biden is in Israel. Air Force One touching down moments ago at Ben Gurion Airport outside Tel Aviv.
Under additional security protection, President Biden landing here in Israel, the first American president to visit the country during war.
Mr. President, Joe, I want to thank you for coming here today.
We will continue to have Israel's back as you work to defend your people.
Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley says he is running for re-election.
There's so much more that we need to be doing, partnering with many of our local municipalities.
In a survey WTMJ sent to listeners who ride the hop, we asked, would you be willing to pay a fare to ride the hop if it meant an extension would happen to your preferred destination? The result? A responding 77% yes vote.
Might it not make sense to explore the idea of using fare boxes with the idea that the people who live around the streetcar now could pay for it?
I think it's always on the table. On the table.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. We're facing an inflection point in history.
Biden using the power of that office to lay out the stakes, saying this is a matter of U.S. national security and global stability.
The White House has asked Congress to consider a $105 billion request for national security needs around the world.
The 25-year career on WTMJ will come to an end this December.
No show lasts forever.
Since 1998, WTMJ's Jeff Wagner has been a constant presence across Milwaukee's airwaves. Now, after a quarter-century of analyzing what's happening both in the city and around the world, Jeff says it's time to move on.
To have the ability to work on a radio station in your hometown in essentially the same time slot for 25 years, it doesn't happen very often.
I rise to nominate Jim Jordan for the Speaker of the House.
The fastest way to get to work for the American people is to elect a speaker so the House can be open and we can get things done.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Debbie, Eric's got...
Uh-oh. Debbie's, you're aware of this, right? That, like, every Halloween, there's always, like, these silly, like, sexy
sexy
costumes.
ones, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, so I just showed
It's a sexy
Vince
pizza.
the sexy pizza costume, the sexy corn cob,
Oh, that one, yeah. Okay.
the sexy salt and
traffic
pepper
music.
shaker. I can't believe you've never seen these before.
Vince, come on, man.
All right, that's all. Do the roads.
Okay, northbound on 41.
Sexy roads.
Hardly sexy roads.
Sexy traffic cones.
Powerfully sexual.
A week.
Sexy pizza.
God bless you all.
Take care. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
All brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Quick text before we get to break, and then we'll see what Jeff Wagner's going to talk about. Steve, loyal listener here. I'm a cleaning lady. I've seen all sorts of bathrooms. If you upgrade, be sure to invest in a steam shower. You'll thank me later. Good advice from a pro. I don't have a steam shower in my I still have a bathtub in my house. How outdated is that? And I can't win the Sidex promotion, but you can. Sidex, S-I-D-E-X, 855-616-1620. Jeff Wagner, big announcement yesterday. Big show today? Question mark? Exclamation point? We'll find out after this.
More of WTMJ now after this.
WTMJ's Jeff Wagner.
Maybe, just maybe, these judges need to start learning that light sentences are not doing anybody a favor. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And in what I fully consider this to be a crime against mankind, you will find pumpkin spiced beer. Pumpkin and beer, to me, you can have pumpkin pie and wash it down with a beer, but pumpkin spiced beer, I'm sorry, I'm not down with that. Yeah.
Weekdays from noon to 3 on WTMJ.
Is outdoor living limited at your place? Well, imagine a deck, a patio, pergola, fire pit, maybe even an outdoor kitchen in your yard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that consults, designs, and builds these things. And they're the best. Let them make outdoor living unlimited in your yard like they did in ours. We are Wisconsin. We live outdoors as much as possible. Make the most of it with help from Outdoor Living Unlimited. See OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.